outside receivers. In the offensive line, Earl the tight end, Albrecht, Jackson, Neal, Emmanuel Zanders, and rookie Keith Van Horn. 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line for Vince Evans, who has struggled and struggled badly. Matsui trying to go outside, coming inside, and Matsui with a healthy gain and a 1st down short of the 35-yard line. So Matsui, who had a career-high 70 yards last week against the Minnesota Vikings, is stopped by Otis McKinney. Now, speaking of the Oakland Raiders on defense, they have been injury-riddled. And as we look at their 3-4, the middle guard is Johnny Robinson, who's a rookie. Matuzak, of course, a veteran, along with Dave Browning. And the linebackers, the veteran Ted Hendricks, Matt Millen, who's been outstanding, the secondary, Lester Hayes, Jackson, Owens, and McKinney. 1st and 10 at the 33 for the Bears. 58 degrees as we start this game. And hardly any breeze. And Peyton carries. Peyton tried to get outside with a block by Emmanuel Zanders, but forcing the play for the Raiders is Randy McClanahan, one of the inside linebackers, and coming up Otis McKinney from strong safety.
And it did seem that Walter Payton had at least fair speed going around on the end run. He has the bruised thigh, which is kind of like a Charlie horse, and it has gone down his leg as the week progressed, the blood clotting, and he hadn't run at all. Ran just a touch yesterday, and now he is in here playing. It's hard to keep Walter Payton out of the lineup, isn't it?
Sure is. He has been the offense for this club. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 at the 33. On a play action pass. Evans has enough time, and he drills his ball complete to Baschnagel, and a 1st down at the 45-yard line of Oakland. So Baschnagel, who is on the receiving end of the 72-yard bomb from Avellini, and the Bears go to the air early.
And the Raiders put on a blitz. As you see Randy McClanahan come through, and watch Walter Payton, 34, picks him up on the quick blitz through, and that was able to give Evans the time to make the pass downfield to Baschnagel for a 1st down. But Walter Payton, with the key block on the blitz right up the middle, picked it up, and Evans was able to get the pass off to Baschnagel.
22-yard pickup for Bryan, who goes into the game with 31 receptions. Now he has one behind Marjoram. He gets at least 5 and picks up 6 or 7 yards on the play. So the Bears look crisp coming out on offense in the 1st series, Johnny.
A good block by Manuel Zandos. He took care of Ted Hendricks on that play, as the Bears are getting some good block, a little life here on offense. As you look at the great Lester Hayes, who had quite a year last year, hasn't been quite as strong this year, but still, nevertheless, a great cornerback. As you look at some final scores, the Redskins, who have really come on at the end of the season, beat Baltimore. It's New England. Buffalo 19-10 over New England. That's the final. 2nd
and 4 at the 39. Bears are moving the ball in the 1st offense. Baschnagel 84 in motion. And the 1st back through is Shuey, has a 1st down. Penalty marker is down, however, at the 35-yard line. And Matt Millen coming in and holding penalty against the Bears. So that was the 1st collision of the day between Matt Suhey and Matt Millen, who were roommates at Penn State. There's Neil Armstrong, the Chicago Bears coach, who could very well be coaching his final 2 games.
Holding offense, number 52.
Dan Neal, the center, was called for holding, and that, of course, can hurt a drive. And that was there was a good block. You may have noticed as Noah Jackson came out through a good block on Rod Martin. So the Bear offensive line has been blocking despite that holding situation.
2nd and 14, ball back at the 49, still in Oakland territory.
Blitz.
Here comes the safety, and the pass is caught anyway. It is caught to Kenny Marjoram, and Marjoram has a 1st down inside the 10-yard line. The whistle blows. And Lester Hayes defending on the play. So Kenny Marjoram, who played his college ball at Stanford and has been kind of upset he hasn't been on the receiving end, catches one here.
Oh, and here comes McKinney from the outside. You're going to see number 23 on the blitz. Evans felt him coming. He was coming from the backside, but he got the pass off to Marjoram and then took the shot, and Marjoram makes the grab, takes it down, and you got to know he's happy. The man from Stanford, the man who loves to windsurf and everything else, but he loves to catch football. Reception, I think, as you mentioned, in a long, long time.
Well, for a while, he had a shot at catching Harlan Hill's 45 for a rookie. Roland Harper, number 35, and Willie McClendon, 37, are in the backfield now for the Bears, who have 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. McClendon And Matt Millen forced the play. Willie McClendon, who played very well for Peyton in the Kansas City game, is stopped by Matt Millen, who has just been outstanding in his 2 years since coming. McClendon, of course, from Georgia in his 3rd year.
Now watch him come across the line of scrimmage and get there behind Zanders and makes the tackle before McClendon can get going. Good play by Matt Millen. This football team, I'm surprised the Raiders are at the situation that they are in right now, 7-7. You would have thought they were going to be coming off the Super Bowl. They have some good young players. They had some critical injuries early. It's a good football team. They'll be back in there next year.
2nd and 12. Ball at the 12 following the 2-yard loss. Evans going in the air and has time. He's also able to run. And Evans' pass is deflected, knocked away. Ted Hendricks and Otis McKinney were defending on the play. Otis McKinney, a former New York Giant, makes the play, and there were no Bears around the ball.
Now here is where Evans should shine more than he has in the past as far as running this year. Here he could have taken off down the field, but he waited and waited and then threw the ball on the run. Did not get it high enough, as Ted Hendricks is tall, but the pass really wasn't high enough as Ricky Watts was deep in the end zone.
Keep in mind that the Chicago Bears have a great streak against the AFC West. They've beaten both San Diego and Kansas City in overtime, trying to go 3-0 against this division. It is 3rd and 12 at the 12. 6 defensive backs in there for the Oakland Raiders, and pressure on Evans. And Evans trying to go to Harper, falls down. No one near him. Harper fell down. Covering on the play for the Raiders, Rod Martin, the right outside linebacker, and Monty Jackson, the cornerback. So it'll be 4th down, and Rovetto will come in for an apparent field goal.
Here was the pass. You'll see 35 slip just as the ball was on its way there. He saw that it was going to be a little bit longer. He stumbled, had no chance for the ball. That's unfortunate for the Chicago Bears. However, I think the pass would have been too far anyway.
So John Rovetto coming in now with Bashnagel holding. You remember last week the Bears faked, and a pass to Al Harris got him knocking on the Viking door. So here's Rovetto, 10 for 16, a 30-yard attempt, and the kick is no good. A line drive kick is no good. And so the Chicago Bears look good, but they couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They couldn't get the points on the board. So we have a timeout here in Oakland. Still no score. So the Oakland Raiders have it 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line following Rovetto's miss from 30 yards out. So Rovetto now 10 for 17 on the year. And we'll give you the Oakland offense after this play. Mark Wilson, the quarterback, in his 9th start, has won 5 of 8 thus far. Arthur Whittington and Derek Jensen in the backfield. And a whistle before the play got underway. We understand that Matt Suhey has suffered cracked ribs. He's out of the game, and we don't know how serious it is, but Suhey has left the ball game. Meanwhile, a procedure call against the Raiders.
Offense, number 60. Ball start.
It was the rookie at left guard, Kurt Marsh, a #1 draft choice, who's replaced Gene Upshaw in the lineup. As you look at Tom Flores. And the offense for the Raiders, Mark Wilson, 2nd year from Brigham Young. Jensen and Whittington, the running backs. The amazing Cliff Branch outside, and Bob Chandler will tell you his story. Derek Ramsey, the tight end, we told you about. Lindsey Mason is starting at left tackle in place of Art Shell. 1st and 15 now at the 15-yard line. And Wilson has enough time, can look over those defenders, and he completes a pass inside to the 20-yard line to Arthur Whittington. Now the defense for the Chicago Bears, and what a defense it's been, as we mentioned the last 5 weeks. The front four of Hampton, Osborne, Page, and Harris. Page coming to the end of a brilliant 15-year career. The linebackers, Brian Cabral in for Otis Wilson. Singletary, the fine rookie, and what a hitter. Schmidt, Henderson, Plank, and Fencing in the secondary. And of course you'll be seeing a lot of Todd Bell and Jeff Fisher as well. 2nd and 10 at the 20-yard line. And here's pressure. A blitz, and the pass intended for Bob Chandler is incomplete. And Brian Cabral, among others, putting pressure in on Mark Wilson.
And Mike Singletary, number 50, really put a blitz on. He almost killed Sylvester as he came right up the middle, tried to time the snap. Here's Sylvester, makes the snap, and then boom. Here comes Singletary trying to allow number 82 to get through, who was Alan Page, as they put the blitz on Wilson and did disrupt the play. And as you saw, the pass was not accurate. That's the advantage of the blitz once in a while.
One thing about Mark Wilson at 6'6", he can really look over the defense and really hang in there and plant his feet and find those 2nd and 3rd receivers. 3rd and 10 now. Ball still at the 20, and the Bears are going into their 6th defensive back alignment with Todd Bell and Jeff Fisher. On 3rd down, Wilson has the time, and the pass is dropped by Cliff Branch. He was there, he had the first down, and he was going out of bounds with it, but he couldn't hold on. So the amazing Cliff Branch in his 10th year didn't hold on there.
Okay, as we see the dropout, pretty good diagnosis there by Wilson as he throws. They had Todd Bell in the short zone, but they had the out pattern, and it hit Branch right in the hands. He doesn't drop many passes like that.
What a receiver he's been.
Boy, are we dissecting that poor drop pass. He says, why don't you do all these ISOs when I catch them?
We do. I think we do. All right, it's 4th down, and there you see Ray Guy at the 5-yard line. He's second in the AFC, and he has been really hampered by a bad back. He's been in traction a couple of times. Jeff Fisher, one of the leaders in the NFC in punt returns, now moving up to the 35. Guy is averaging nearly 44 yards a kick, but his average against the Steelers Monday only 39, and he's just not the same with the back.
Just imagine, though, a bad back, and he's averaging 44 yards.
Former #1 draft choice, and a great one. They try to block it. McClendon came in there, among others, and the kick will go out of bounds. And a great field position coming up as Ray Guy, of course, has a lot of pride. He's not used to this 23-yard kick, and the Bears in great field position when we come back. They're in great field position, 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Nothing to score. The Bears' first drive ended up with nothing as Roberto missed a field goal. Walter Payton is in the lineup along with Roland Harper, number 35. Matsui has cracked ribs as he's out of there. Short drop and a pass, incomplete, intended for Ricky Watts, and overthrown Watts. He was covered on the play by Monty Jackson, who was hurt last week. Burgess Owens, the free safety, also covering.
Good play by Jackson. He came up and covered Watts like a blanket, and he wasn't afraid to play that bump and run. Cincinnati 17-10 over Pittsburgh.
That wraps it up in the AFC Central.
All right, and the Steelers will not be in the playoffs. Look at the Green Bay Packers. Bart Starr relives again, 35-7.
They're alive in that wild card, and the Giants are also alive for the wild card, beating St. Louis 20-10. 2nd and 10 at the 42-yard line. We're going to bring you up to date on all the scores in this big week. And the rush is kicked away, intended for Ricky Watts again, and this time Randy McClanahan, the linebacker. A lot of people have criticized Watts for not holding on to a lot of passes. That was a tough one from Vince Evans. Other scores around the league. San Diego defeated Tampa Bay 24-23. So the Tampa Bay-Detroit game next week to determine the NFC Central Division Championship. And San Diego stays alive in the AFC West. Miami in a big one against Kansas City, leading in the 3rd quarter.
In that NFC Central now, Tampa Bay and Detroit are both 8-7, and they will play head-to-head next week.
Wayne Osteen is a nickel back now for the Oakland Raiders at 3rd and 10 at the 42. So Evans has gone to the air twice and will go to the air a 3rd time. And he's looking for Watts. And Ricky Watts is there to make the catch. And Watts is going in for the touchdown. He lofted a pass, 42 yards to Ricky Watts, who has caught his 2nd touchdown pass of the year, and the Bears lead it.
And they can thank Roland Harper for a little help, too, as he picked up Ted Hendricks on the blitz. As you're going to see the blitz, and Hendricks is coming from the right side. And, of course, Watts went right. Here's 35, blocking on Hendricks. He really tipped him. Watts turned on the speed, got a step on Monty Jackson. The pass was perfect. Watts took it in for the touchdown. The Bears on top.
Burgess Owens missed a tackle. There's Jackson missing, and now watch Watts get away from Owens.
Yes, he just shook the tackle. He was right there, took it in. He's a strong runner. Ricky Watts is a strong runner. His biggest problem is to hang on to the football.
Well, that's something you can really learn. And we have a penalty marker before as Baschnagel is holding for Rovetto. And we have an offsides call against Oakland.
75.
Howard Long, the rookie from Villanova,
on the kickoff.
And so Rovetto will attempt it again, and they will mark the 5 yards on the kickoff. So the Bears will kick off from the 40-yard line. 6-0, Chicago leading. We're in the 1st quarter with 9 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in the 1st period. Now Rovetto makes good on the conversion attempt, and so the Chicago Bears seem to have a whammy over the AFC West. Have taken an early lead, 7-0 here on Vince Evans' 7th touchdown pass of the year. We'll be back with the Bears kickoff in a moment. So the Bears, who came up empty in their first drive, make good the 2nd time on a 3rd down and 10 play. Evans to Watts, 42 yards. And the Bears are up 7-0. And so now John Rivetto will kick off for the white-shirted Chicago Bears. Arthur Whittington and Malcolm Barnwell are deep, and it's headed for Barnwell. 3 or 4 yards in the end zone. He slips and runs it out. Barnwell, in a big collision, you can hear it up here, is down just beyond the 15-yard line by Bruce Herron, number 51 for the Chicago Bears.
Goes to show you how important a slip is. When he slipped, he lost that contact with his 4 horsemen, his wedge out in front, and the defenders were able to get in behind those 4 horsemen that try and run in front of the ball carrier. So we have seen the Chicago Bears jump out with a couple of passes that we haven't seen too many games in the past few weeks where they have been able to pick up that blitz and throw downfield for the bomber.
Well, they've thrown 2 passes to wide receivers in the last 4 games, so I think that's indicative. 1st and 10 on the 16-yard line, and Arthur Whittington cutting inside gets to the 20. Whittington, who's playing in place of the injured Kenny King, who has a bruised sternum. And King, of course, went over 100 yards last week, but Whittington, no slouch, caught 6 passes, a career high for him against Pittsburgh. Cabral made the tackle.
Mark Wilson had 3 touchdown passes last week, and in fact, in 4 of the last games, 3 of the last 4 games that they've played, and he's had 3 touchdown passes. That's not too bad.
Not for a second-year man or a rookie. 2nd and 6 at the 20-yard line. Derek Jensen got short of the 25-yard line. Jensen, in his 3rd year, a 3rd-round draft choice, had his longest run from scrimmage last week, 33 yards, but he's basically known for his blocking. Once again, Cabral makes the tackle.
The thing about this Raider offensive line is that they're huge. They're big guys, and they're going to be tough to handle in there for the Chicago Bears. They may have to rely on a lot of blitzing to kind of upset that situation.
Johnny, their offensive linemen outweigh the Bears almost 10 pounds a man, it seems.
That's a lot. That's a lot. In pro football, everything is so even, but not the weight situation here.
3rd and 2 now, and Plank is showing a blitz. Derek Jensen is moving forward and close to a 1st down, and he may have it depending on where they spot it as the Bears came in with the nickel back. It is a 1st down for the Oakland Raiders. 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the 1st quarter. 7-0 in favor of the Bears, and Neil Armstrong trying to guide his team to the 5th victory of the year. Of course, the big upset really hurt Minnesota last week, 10-9, and I guess the Lions put the lid on the Vikings yesterday, John.
That's right, and 3-4 weeks ago, everybody was saying the Vikings have it all wrapped up in the Central Division. Well, it was not true. As you look at Tom Flores, former quarterback for the Raiders, who did, as you know, a fantastic job last year.
Jensen cutting inside is upended, and a fine play again by the secondary Doug Plank.
Derek Jensen tripped up by
is stopped by Plank, and I think a lot of people may not realize how well the Chicago Bears defense has gone in the last 5 years. Plank, of course, is fencing, and opposing teams know how hard hitting those safeties are.
Well, if they can come up and fill a hole. That time the Raiders had the Bears defensive line blocked, but here came Plank on a kind of a semi-blitz there to bust the play.
So Mark Wilson at the line at 2nd and 9 at the 29. Sends everyone out on a pattern, and the safety valve is Derek Jensen, who has a 1st down and still moving to midfield. Derek Jensen is tackled by Gary Campbell from behind, but not before a 21-yard gain. And Derek Jensen is the hard worker in the early going for the Raiders.
Excellent pass protection for Wilson. He was able to find nobody down the field and finally went to his safety valve as the Bears had a 3-man rush and the Raiders just took care of it. Nobody could get there, so he went to the safety valve and there was a mistake on the Bear coverage. Singletary comes over way late, but he's coming so fast that this is the easiest time to fake somebody out. And Derek Jensen got a few extra yards. Tremendous block by somebody came across there. Was that Chandler? Would that have been a wide receiver?
Wouldn't surprise me. Knocked Plank right out of the play. 1st and 10 at midfield. Arthur Whittington with is stopped by Mike Singletary. And now you know that Singletary is gaining that great reputation for hitting ball carriers. Remember Joe Delaney and a few others, John.
Boy, he really popped him. He really popped Whittington. That time you'll see the lead back. Jensen misses Singletary. Number 50 will come through right behind the lead blocker here, and he collides with Whittington head on. Right there, and he's coming like a submarine. 2 heads collided there. I think there might be a couple of headaches.
2nd round draft choice from Baylor, and looking better and better each week. 2nd and 9 at the 49-yard line. Bears going with the nickel defense. Wide receivers out to the left, and pressure on Wilson, who loses his footing. He's going up top here for Cliff Branch, who's covered by Terry Schmidt, incomplete. So it'll be 3rd and 9. And what made that play for the Bears was the pressure on Wilson.
Right, and there was a blitz that time too. Doug Plank came up the middle and he was blocked. Okay, let's take a look here. We've got two corners, both on the same side of the field, covering the two wide receivers. So Schmidt and Henderson, they've got a man-for-man down the field. They're going with him. And you could see there was no help down the field. They moved Terry Schmidt from one corner all the way over because the Raiders put the two wide receivers on the other side of the field, went man-for-man, put the blitz on in order to upset the quarterback so that they could not have the timing.
Frank Hawkins, number 27, a 10th-round draft choice from Nevada Reno, is in there, and they do not blitz, and they keep him out, and the pass penalty marker down is complete to Chandler, but there's a penalty flag down as Chandler has it presumably for a first down at the 38-yard line. But let's wait and see what Fred Silva will tell us.
He collided with Terry Schmidt, number 44.
Defensive holding against the Bears as Schmidt is flexing that right wrist.
We have an illegal chuck on the defense. It's refused.
Penalty refused. Penalty refused, and it'll be 1st and 10. Derek Jensen replaces Frank Hawkins. And the Raiders are moving. The Bears 7-0 with 5:05 remaining in the first quarter. Mark Wilson, who set 11 NCAA records at Brigham Young, and a very cool, calm general. Singletary in pass coverage now, and Wilson is hit hard. And coming in strong with the first real pressure was Al Harris, number 90, the right defensive end. Harris putting a lot of pressure on the offensive line for the Raiders that has rookie Kurt Marsh and third-year man Lindsey Mason off the left side, John.
Al Harris had an excellent game last week for Chicago, as the whole defense did. As you take a look at Mark Wilson, 2 for 6 out of BYU. They really put out the quarterbacks, as everybody knows. And we were talking to Al Davis down on the sidelines before the game, and he has high hopes that Wilson is going to be one of these quarterbacks that's going to be around 10, 15 years. He says he's impervious to the pass rush. He does not have those quick feet worrying about who's going to hit him.
And here comes a blitz against Wilson, who gets the ball off, and it's incomplete. Doug Plank forced the play on the intended receiver, Arthur Whittington, coming out of the field. This is just hard hitting, and the Bears are playing this game as if more than jobs depend on it.
Everybody comes on the blitz. Everybody's coming. They're trying to put all kinds of pressure on the young quarterback. There's number 50, Singletary, and you can see outside here, Gary Campbell, 59, and then they forced Wilson to throw sooner than he wanted to. He went to Whittington, and it affords a defensive back like a Plank to play tight because he knows they're going to have to throw the ball quick, and then he's going to pop that receiver.
So at the 38, it's 3rd and 10, and the Raiders that used to be solid on the left side with Shell and Upshaw now have Mason and Marsh. And
here they come again
as they come in on Wilson. This time Wilson withstands it, and the pass is complete. The pass is complete to Cliff Branch. And it'll be, I believe, close to another first down. Let's see where they spot it. They may be short. There's a penalty flag down as well, as Branch caught the ball. Defensive holding, the second call of that kind in this drive against the Bears, and that will mean an automatic first down for the Raiders, and they will accept the penalty.
Well, I would imagine they would, Dick, that they're going to take it. Let's see, what is the situation here? 3rd, it was 3rd, and
it would have been 4th and less than a yard.
Right. Now they're going.
Holding on the defense. Number 46. First down.
That's Doug Plank holding. So it's a first down. So the Raiders would rather have the first down than have 4th and a little bit. And Plank, who was the guilty party, pleading his case. 1st and 10 at the 33.
And one of the reasons the Bears blitz so much early in the game is to see the blocking schemes of how the Raiders are going to pick it up, and then they make their adjustments.
Chandler is wide to the right, Branch to the left, but this time Derek Jensen is hit head on. And this time it is the other defensive end, Dan Hampton, who came in. So with Hampton and Harris, the Bears are well set at defensive end. Of course, Mike Hartenstein also comes in on pass situations. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Do you know what the Raiders' record since 1967 is? 148 wins, 47 losses, and 7 ties. The best record in all of pro football the past 15 years.
They showed what they were made of in beating Pittsburgh last week and coming from behind to beat Seattle the week before. 2nd and 9, and 6 defensive backs in there now, and they give it to Arthur Whittington, and Whittington gets inside the 30.
Arthur Whittington,
He'll be setting up a 3rd and long yardage, or 3rd and about 5, as Arthur Whittington, who's got good speed and the best receiver among the running backs for the Oakland Raiders.
At the 28. Gain of 3.
So Oakland trying to emulate the Bears with a drive of their own, trailing 7-0 here in the first quarter with 3:45 remaining. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris here at Oakland Coliseum on a dismal, dreary day as both receivers go to the right now. Henderson comes up to meet Branch. And Terry Smith with Chandler with a 6th defensive back alignment. And this time Wilson has time, and he's going for Chandler. Wide open touchdown. He beat everybody. Bob Chandler.
It looked like there might have been a little bit of a mix-up there. Terry Smith seemed confused as Chandler went down the field. You're going to see now from the end zone situation, the 2 wide receivers were on the same side of the field. He had plenty of time, and there is Chandler a good couple of steps behind Terry Smith. They had a man-for-man situation, but Schmidt looked like he was confused. He expected Fensick to be there for deep help. I'm not sure about that.
Chandler will hold for Chris Barr, who is 26 for 31 this year in conversions, and that kick is blocked at the line. The kick is blocked, and so the Bears will keep the lead at 7-6. So Bob Chandler has caught a touchdown pass, and we'll come back to tell you of a tremendous, courageous story of the Raiders wide receiver who has caught another touchdown pass, his 4th. It was Alan Page who blocked the kick, 82nd time in his career, 28th career block, we should say, for Alan Page. As Barr kicks off to Emery Moorhead, who's deep. First time Bassnagel, the short man, picked it up there at the 6-yard line. And Moorhead just gets about to the 20-yard line, where the Bears will take it 1st and 10, and leading in the game 7-6. Todd Christensen made the tackle on Emery Moorhead.
You mentioned it was Page's 28th block. That's a league record. He has more than anybody. As you look at Mr. Chandler, has himself a touchdown.
Had a great comeback story. Had a ruptured spleen. Had the spleen removed. They didn't say he didn't think they'd ever play again, and he missed 5 games and parts of 5 others. He's in his 11th year, and of course he led them in touchdowns a year ago and comes back strong. One of those people that get open somehow. He got open for that touchdown pass. 1st and 10 Bears at the 20-yard line. In motion, Marjoram. Roland Harper pressed into action with Matsui out with cracked ribs. Picks up a couple. Johnny Robinson, the middle guard, makes the tackle as you look at the scoring drive of the Oakland Raiders.
And that's a pretty good drive. When you go 13 plays down the field for 84 yards and consume almost 6 minutes of time, you know that you have had a very successful drive.
And it was a drive through the air as well as on the ground. The 14th touchdown pass of the year for Wilson. That's what Evans has done so far today. The 2nd and 5 at the 25. Payton trapped. Almost got tripped at the line of scrimmage. And manages to fight his way short of a 1st down by about 3 yards. As Otis McKinney, the strong safety, combined with Matt Millen to make the stop on Waller.
Matt Millen is persistent, isn't he? He got across the line of scrimmage, almost made the tackle, and said, I missed it. I'm going to get in on the tackle. Let's watch number 55 right there coming across the line of scrimmage here, and he's going to make Payton cut back. He avoids the block by Harper. Now watch Millen, 55. He's going to get back up as Payton tries to cut back, and then here comes Millen, 55. He's taking a beat on Payton from the backside, and pop right there. He got him.
3rd and 2. Payton goes out of the game, and Roland Harper is the lone setback. And Roland Harper on a dazzle play. And they're going to go now to the wide receiver, Kenny Marjoram, who has a 1st down for the Chicago Bears. McKinney makes the stop. Harper to Evans to Marjoram, pulling out all the stops.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that's the shortest flea flicker pass I've ever seen. Usually when they run this, it's an 80-yard pass to some guy wide open. This is an 8-yard pass to the sidelines, but it's complete. It worked as Kenny Marjoram catches his 2nd pass, more than he's caught in the last 4 games. He's got to be happy. I know that his family's here watching the game. His sister plays for Stanford's basketball team.
Still does not have a touchdown here in his rookie year. And getting to the 45-yard line.
Oh, what a great block by Noah Jackson on Rod Martin.
McKinney making the tackle. So Roland Harper, a year ago, gained 404 yards for the Bears. This season, coming into this game, has gained only 9.
Well, he hasn't been playing. That makes it kind of tough. They have gone to Matsui, and Rowan Harper kind of became the mystery man. He was such an excellent football player for the Bears for so many years, and then he got that hurt knee, and he's never really had a chance to prove that he's okay from that.
On 2nd and 3, Evans, Ricky Watts, first down inside the 40-yard line and inside the 35, and they mark it down at the 31-yard line. Monty Jackson defending, and so far, Johnny, I think that Evans is finding open receivers today, and they're finding the seams of that zone.
That's right. Monty Jackson fell down here, and Ricky Watts did the right thing. He jumped up here, didn't use his hands, reach up for it. He jumped up and caught it in the stomach, and then Monty Jackson was forced to make the tackle. Jackson had slipped right before that play, but Ricky Watts now on the beam. Caught 2 passes today. Kenny Marjoram 2 passes, and as you mentioned, Bear wide receivers have been kind of left out the past few games.
Offensively, the Bears do look sharp. They seem to be forcing the ball instead of just going laterally like they do often. 1st and 10 at the 31 now. First back through, Roland Harper. Harper loses the ball. There's a fumble picked up by Oakland. Burgess Owens. The free safety brings it back to the 47-yard line. So Burgess Owens, former Jet, and a 21-yard return on the fumble recovery, and the Raiders have the ball again.
I think it was Johnny Robinson, the 68, was in on that tackle, as there's pretty good blocking there as he gets through, and there was 68, John Robinson. He stripped the ball loose from Harper, and then it bounced into Burgess Owens, and he was off to the race. Burgess says, points out the blockers, tells them how to block, gets down the field. It's Oakland's ball. In good shape, Burgess Owens alertly picked it up, and the ball is at the 47-yard line.
Big contributor in the Raiders' Super Bowl story a year ago at the 47, 1st and 10. Wilson calmly looking over. It's almost intercepted. It is an incompleted pass. Almost intercepted by Singletary.
And Derek Ramsey did a great job that time, because Singletary had that ball, and you're going to see Ramsey just reach right over and make sure that he doesn't catch it. Here's 50 coming back to the zone, number 50. Now he has it, and then Ramsey will reach right over and bat it down. Good play, excellent play by the young tight end.
And not a wise pass for Mr. Wilson with Singletary right in front of the tight end.
2nd and 10 from the 47.
So it'll be 2nd 10 at the 47. Frank Hawkins, number 27, joins Arthur Whittington in the backfield. Kenny King, to repeat, has a bruised sternum and is not playing today. Whittington hit immediately, and a fine play by Singletary. No one there to block Mike Singletary. He came in strong, and a loss on the play of nearly 5 yards.
Did you notice Singletary inquiring from Whittington how he felt? He got right through there. Nobody blocked him. He really pops him, and then he got up and he wanted to make sure that he was okay.
So the clock is run down. That is the end of the first quarter here at Oakland Coliseum, with the score, the Chicago Bears 7 and the Oakland Raiders 6. This is Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris here at Oakland as we start the second quarter. The Bears lead 7-6. They got on the board on an Evans to Ricky Watts 42-yard play. Then Mark Wilson hit Chandler with a touchdown pass, but the point after was blocked by Alan Page, and that's the story. We have a 3rd and 13 at the 43-yard line, and Wilson takes a deep drop. Under pressure, completes the pass to Whittington, and Whittington is stopped at the 46. It'll be 4th and 10. So Wilson got a few back, but not nearly enough as Doug Plank makes the play again. So the Chicago Bears are playing aroused football this afternoon here in the Bay Area.
They went to that 5-man front with the 5 defensive linemen and dropped Al Harris as Whittington is down. He's taken several pops today. Singletary has softened him up a little bit, and then he took another one there. It's been a tough day for Whittington, and actually the Raiders with Kenny King out, you know, as far as their backs are concerned, they're getting some people banged up. They've already lost Van Egan.
We may be taking a look at the 11th round draft choice, Chester Willis. We've seen Frank Hawkins, who was a 10th rounder, and it looks like the right knee. So the Oakland Raiders, next Saturday on CBS, the Dallas Cowboys, who are playing today against the Eagles, against the New York Giants, who kept their wild card hopes alive with a victory over the Cardinals. 11 o'clock Central Time. All begins with the NFL Today. The Cowboys and the Giants.
Well, the Giants are 8-7 after winning today, and who knows what Dallas is going to be in Philadelphia. Dallas was 11-3, Philadelphia 9-5 into that game that is now underway as Arthur Whittington comes off the field.
The Philadelphia Eagles are leading the Dallas Cowboys 3-0. Tony Franklin has kicked a 50-yard field goal. So now they're in the second quarter as the Eagles lead Dallas 3-0. And you know that there's bad blood between those two teams, as you've seen many times on the NFL Today, as Jeff Fisher is back at the 12-yard line. Ray Guy getting pressure once again. Emery Moorhead. And a good high spiral by Ray Guy. And the ball will fall into the end zone for a touchback. But despite the bad back and all, Ray Guy boomed one 54 yards. And that's the Ray Guy when he's healthy. And what he has meant to the Oakland Raiders. 7-6 to score. We'll be back. The veteran Hendricks talking to the second-year Matt Millen from Penn State, who was a second-round draft choice. He met his roommate, Matt Suhey, on a crunching hit, and Suhey had to retire with cracked ribs, so they had a very brief reunion. As we get back in action, Bears 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line, leading 7-6. Opening minute here of the second quarter in Oakland. Roland Harper and Walter Payton in the backfield. And the pass to Ricky Watts, almost intercepted by Monty Jackson off the hands of Ricky Watts, and he was open there, John.
Yes, he was. Down on the quick post, the play action pass on first down. That's the time to run it, but he just stood a little bit behind him. He goes down about 6 yards, takes the break inside. Boom, the ball's got to be right there. And it was a touch behind him as Monty Jackson comes up late. It would have been a completion and a first down as the Bears throwing more and more on first down.
Watts coming in the game with 20 receptions, 3rd on the club, 2nd and 10. Plays brought in by the wide receivers, and here's Walter Payton faking going up the middle, and he is hit immediately by Randy McClanahan and Ted Hendricks, the left side linebacker. So Randy McClanahan, who doesn't have great range, but a tough hitter he is. And Walter Payton, who's, you know, gone over the 1,000 mark for the 6th consecutive year. Franco Harris has done the same in the AFC. 3rd and 7 at the 23-yard line. Wayno Steen, number 35, is a nickel back for the Raiders. 3 wide receiver alignment for the Bears. And Evans going to Payton. Incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and Rod Martin was depending on the play, and Rod Martin received an award that is very significant to the Oakland Raiders before the game, because he won an award emblematic of the pride and poise that the Oakland Raiders use as their slogan. The Gorman Award last year won by Ted Hendricks. This year won by Rod Martin. Bob Parsons, who has punted 101 times, and that's 8 less than the all-time record. Ted Watts, the rookie from Texas Tech, who ran a punt back 52 yards against the Steelers, backs up to the 29. And Watts is stopped at the 31-yard line. A 49-yard punt and superb coverage by the Chicago Bears will set the Oakland Raiders back. So you're looking at one of the top draft choices, Ted Watts of the Raiders, and the Bears lead by 1. Ted Hendricks, who has never missed a game since joining the Baltimore Colts in 1969. Durable and not your usual linebacker. 1st and 10 at the 32. Maybe Singletary won't be a usual linebacker either if he continues to go like he's gone. And Wilson has time. He's looking for Chandler, and a fine play by Reuben Henderson as the ball hung up there. And Henderson was able to make the hit, but we have a penalty flag down and holding against the Raiders.
That time the Bears went into a zone defense as Terry Schmidt dropped off at the last second, and they had a deep zone, and Henderson just played it perfectly. As you see, the Oakland Raiders are going to suffer a penalty.
Well, Henderson has done so well this year against some of the better receivers.
Offense, number 65. Holding, first down.
Mickey Marvin, the right guard, holding on the call. Sets the Raiders back to the 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 20. Wilson so far is 5 for 12 for 67 yards and 1 touchdown. Got his chance when Jim Plunkett was benched after 3 consecutive shutouts. Wilson is going for Branch. At the 41-yard line, short of a first down by about 6 or 7 yards, and Reuben Henderson defending on the play.
That was an excellent play by the Raiders. Branch was in very tight, only split about 5 or 6 yards, and he started heading towards the sideline, then just cut back into the inside, and Henderson had no chance to make the interception, so he came in, did the next best thing, and Branch took his punishment, made the reception. Cliff Branch, who made such a difference for this Raiders because he's the home run threat. He's the long ball threat, which can dictate defensive strategy.
Only the second Raider to catch 400 or more balls. He did it against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a great career. Biletnikoff the other. Arthur Whittington. Frank Hawkins make it. Hawkins carrying the ball.
Well, you should have seen Doug Plank. He was blitzing that time, and he ran into Kurt Marsh. He got tied up with that offensive line blocking, and old Doug said, hey, I'm going to hit him from the backfield. Get me out of that line.
It'll be 3rd and 4 at the 38-yard line. 12 minutes and change remaining in the first half. The Bears lead at 7-6 as Alan Page has blocked a Chris Barr conversion attempt for the difference, as both wide receivers now to the left. Chandler, 85, and Branch is watched by Terry Schmidt. Branch has a lot of speed on Schmidt, but this time Wilson rolls out and lofts it to the tight end. Derek Ramsey overthrown. It'll be incomplete. Doug Plank was covering on the play, and there was an opportunity for Cliff Branch against Terry Schmidt one-on-one.
Terry Schmidt came out and played 1 yard off the line of scrimmage trying to bump and run with Cliff Branch, and that was an impossible situation. Branch did get open, but you saw Wilson was out to the other side, never saw it happen.
So Wilson goes off, and Ray Guy is in to punt for the Raiders on 4th and 4. Guy boomed a 54-yarder the last time. This will be his 3rd kick, and Jeff Fisher, who comes into the game 2nd in the NFC, averaging over 12 yards a return at the 15. High kick gives the Raiders enough time to do anything, and a fair catch called for by Fisher inside the 15-yard line. So Ray Guy looking better and better despite the bad back. A 49-yard punt, putting the Bears in a hole.
Gentlemen.
There's Bear defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan talking with Doug Plank. He deserves a lot of credit. This Bear defense over the last 5 games, if you look at the Chicago Sun-Times this morning, Kevin Lamb researched that the Bears have been #1 the last 5 games in the NFL. As you look at Jim Dooley on the right, there's Ted Plum, Jim LaRue, Dale Hopp. The Bears, what do you call them, quartet of brainstorms up in the press box.
1st and 10 at the 14 for the Bears, leading 7-6. Roland Harper with Peyton blocking for Harper. Head down, gets close to the 20-yard line. Other scores around the league as Harper carried, and these are important games. Miami leading Kansas City 17-7. And the Dolphins coming in with a 1/2 game lead over Buffalo and a 1-game lead over the Jets. Philadelphia leading Dallas 10-0 in the 2nd quarter. The Eagles, of course, know they have to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. Denver over Seattle 7-0. Denver can determine their own fate with a 1-game lead in the AFC West. 2nd and 5 now at the 19. Bash Nagel in motion toward the line. Watched by Lester Hayes. And Roland Harper breaks a tackle and gets close to a 1st down. Will probably be short by about a yard. And the tackle is made by Matt Millen, the inside linebacker.
You know, the Chicago Bears have never beaten the Oakland Raiders in league play. They've played 3 times over the years, and they've all been very close games, but the Raiders have always prevailed.
And the injuries that you talked about early in the year, Reggie Kinlaw, the nose tackle, or the middle guard as they call it here in Oakland. Mark Van Egan, of course, is on injured reserve. Bob Nelson, a linebacker. Mike Davis, who played some on Monday night at strong safety. 2 tight ends in there for the Bears at 3rd and 1. Mike Cobb and Robin Earl. And Roland Harper has the 1st down as he gets to the 25-yard line. Make it the 26, and the Bears crunching it out. McClanahan and Millen, the 2 linebackers, make the play. The Raiders feel that in this transition year that a lot of good young players have seen action. Johnny Robinson, the middle guard. Some of the players on offense like Kurt Marsh, who was learning at left guard. And some of the young backs like Hawkins. There's Robinson, 4th-round draft choice.
Okay, we have a 1st down situation
at the 26. Starting to rain in Oakland. Harper and Roland Harper hit once, twice, still on his feet.
That's Roland Harper.
And a fine play as Johnny Robinson missed a tackle on Roland Harper. And Mike Davis came in to make the play.
Good block by Walter Payton on Ted Hendricks. It was like Mutt and Jeff there, but Payton got the job done as Hendricks was knocked out of the play, and Harper was able to turn up the field. Roland Harper playing more than he's played in a long time.
Matsui out with cracked ribs, and Harper has gained 34 yards on 7 carries so far. It'll be 2nd and 4 at the 32 for the Bears. 9 minutes remaining in the first half. Chicago 7 and Oakland 6. Harper once again going outside. Didn't find a hole, put his head down, and will be satisfied for maybe a yard as Rod Martin closed the hole immediately. Ted Albrecht, number 64, you saw the...
And he's a little bit upset because he felt that Emery Moorhead, now here comes Moorhead. He's not supposed to interfere with him, but he jerks him just a little bit here, and he could have forced him to drop the ball. Now, he wasn't trying to swipe his wallet. He was just trying to give him a little nudge and then a little tap on the side of the thigh and say, nice going.
A rule is a rule. Arthur Whittington going off tackle, spins away, and gets out to the 15-yard line. A fine run by Arthur Whittington, who was kicked in the knee earlier, came out of the ball game, and apparently is all right. Al Harris makes the stop on Whittington. Arthur Whittington with good speed and a fine receiver, a valuable performer, and in the Oakland scheme of things on offense, they demand that both of their backs can block on the play. Whittington has Frank Hawkins, the rookie, number 27, with him. It's 2nd and 5 at the 15. And here is Whittington again, a first down past the 20-yard line. Brian Cabral makes the tackle on Whittington, and with great acceleration for him.
He came from the other side, number 54, because you'll see Singletary gets caught up in it and gets caught as he tried to blitz through the middle. And here comes 54 from the right of your screen to make the tackle, but a good play by the Oakland Raiders. Good
Cabral,
play.
playing in place of Wilson, has done very well in the action he's seen.
You bet he has.
1st and 10 now at the 23-yard line with 3:35 remaining in the first half, and hitting the line, Frank Hawkins.
Frank Hawkins, the ball carrier.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Oakland Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris here. Overcast in Oakland. We've had some drizzle. It rained heavily this morning, and the field is not at 100%, as you can see some of the players slipping. The lights have been on since the start. 2nd down and 7 at the 26. Mark Wilson peering over the defense, finds the tight end Derek Ramsey, who makes a great catch. And there's a great athlete in Derek Ramsey, who is a quarterback at the University of Kentucky and also was on their basketball team. We're not talking about a medium school. This is Kentucky now.
He's the last guy that I would have thought that Wilson was going to throw to. He throws it late, and he's got 3 guys around him. Gary Fensick is right there, and boom, he puts it right in there between Campbell, Al Harris, and Fensick, and then it's a completed pass, and they almost got the first down out of it. We have a 3rd down and 1 situation where the Bears have been the strongest on defense this year.
That's right. They have risen to the occasion.
There, the Bears changing their defenses around. They have 5 defensive linemen.
So now the Raiders call the timeout, and Wilson goes to the sidelines as the Bears effectively have confused Wilson to an extent. Timeout, and we'll be back. With Ted Marchibroda talking things over with Neil Armstrong. That's our score, and that's the time remaining in the 2nd quarter here. It is 3rd and 2 at the 32-yard line for the Raiders. Trailing 7-6, and Alan Page's block of a Chris Barr conversion. The difference in this one, no scoring in the 2nd quarter. Wilson under pressure, play action, going up top for Cliff Branch. Incomplete. He's chased behind by Reuben Henderson. So it'll be 4th down. Branch needs 40 yards for 7,000 career yards and has 15 so far, and would have gone over the 7,000 mark if he had caught up with that ball.
Just shows you the advantage of a good pass rush. Wilson had to change his arm throw to get the ball off because of the rush, and he just overthrew Branch. As you look at what's coming up at halftime.
Brett Irvin will set things straight with the scores and the playoff story as we get closer to the big moments. Here comes a rush on Ray Guy, and a penalty marker is going down. Running into the kicker will be called against the Chicago Bears as Jeff Fisher returns the ball to the 25-yard line. There were 2 flags down, and 2 flags, one at the 40 and one at the line. A 51-yard kick nonetheless, but Ray Guy was stormed upon, and let's pick it up.
And the penalty,
yes,
it's not going to be against the Bears.
They may nullify it. It may be a legal man downfield and roughing into the kicker, running into the kicker.
Offense, 56. Downfield, running into the kicker. We're going to replay.
That's Jeff Barnes, the linebacker, and so the Raiders had an opportunity to keep the ball there, but Barnes had left too soon, so they'll kick it again.
That's fair, I guess. Just do it all over again. Nobody gets hurt. Run the play the way it should be run. Good punt, good return.
Jeff Fisher at the 22-yard line. Fine-looking rookie from Southern California, and has to figure in the Bears' plans with Fisher, Bell, fellow Leslie Frazier, who you haven't seen. He's been hurt. Reuben Henderson. They have a bevy of rookies back there. Having to get off in a hurry. Emory Moorhead McClendon coming in, and the ball will bounce and go out of bounds at the 41-yard line. As the rain falls here in Oakland, California, Ray Guy with a 27-yard punt. And we will have our 2-minute warning right now with the Bears leading Oakland 7-6 and coming out on offense when we come back. The preceding message was furnished by the National Football League. Former Raider quarterback Tom Flores, assistant coach, and a head coach, quietly led the Raiders to the Super Bowl as a wild card team. And Al Davis kicking himself before the game, saying Raiders could have come so close to making it again, and who knows in this wide open season what the Raiders might have done.
Well, they suffered those 3 shutouts early in the season. They had a couple of games where key penalties knocked them out, and they're really a much better team than a 7-7 situation.
Greg Graceland, number 54, is in for Andy McClanahan. 1st and 10 at the 41. They're going to Baschnagel, but it's overthrown. And Lester Hayes, step for step with Brian Baschnagel, who, of course, still has the wrist taped up, although doesn't have the cast anymore for that broken bone that he played with his wrist. Brent Nerve will bring you up to date at halftime, and a lot of games with incredible significance, I would think, Johnny, as we get closer to the playoffs.
Well, they're getting down to the nitty-gritty. I don't know how many teams were still in it going into today's game with possibilities, but that's going to be cut down a little bit, and there's going to be a few big games this coming weekend as Vince Evans, who now is not calling his own plays. They're being sent in by the receivers from the coaches, but many feel that at this stage of his career, it really has taken some pressure off him.
Marjoram in motion, along with Baschnagel to the right. Ricky Watts to the left, and Evans pass to Walter Payton with a penalty marker down. Payton has it to the 42-yard line. It is an apparent first down. Otis McKinney makes the tackle, but let's see what the penalty marker is.
It might have been against McKinney for putting a jam on Ken Marjoram. At least they collided. We'll have to see whether they call it offense, but usually in that situation they'll call it against the defender, and I think it's 23, McKinney, who collided with Marjoram earlier in the play.
Apparently that's the call, John, as the Bears are using Peyton more as a receiver than they as a runner, because he has carried 3 times for just 6 yards in this game. There's McKinney, and they mark it off to the 27.
Well, there must have been a couple of penalties.
Personal foul, number 37. Defense, shot to the head. First down.
It's Lester Hayes.
That was Lester Hayes. What about the McKinney situation?
Lester Hayes. And that gives the Bears a great opportunity here with 1:43 remaining. And they have all 3 of their timeouts remaining in the half. 1st and 10 at the 28-yard line.
I think there were 2 penalties, and they took the bigger of the penalties.
Evans to the air at 1st and 10, going up top to Baschnagel, and it's just beyond him. Baschnagel was covered by Ted Hendricks on the play. And he's just overthrowing some of these receivers who could be going for the races.
But how would you like to have that job that Ted Hendricks did? Here's 83 right here. You see him comes off the rush, and he starts with the back, then he goes downfield, and Ted Hendricks is the defender on Brian Baschnagel down the field. There he is, 83 and 84, and it was just a little bit too long. And I tell you what, that's why I wouldn't want to be a linebacker in the NFL covering wide receivers down the field.
And he's all over the field, I tell you, Hendricks. He can come in.
Boy, the rain is coming.
2nd and 10. And you're right, Johnny, the rain coming out. Kenny Marjoram overthrown again, and Marjoram had the defense beaten. Looking for his first touchdown pass of the year. Otis McKinney and Burgess Owens were behind Kenny Marjoram. As you look at some of the Bear assistants in the rain falling here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. And so this natural turf is getting soaked some more. And the 49ers, of course, are in action against the Houston Oilers, and we assume they have the same weather conditions on some tough turf over there. So it'll be 3rd and 10 at the 28-yard line, and the fans now reach for their rain gear. That's the time remaining in the first half. 7-6 to score. Evans hit Watts with a 42-yard touchdown. Going to the air again. And this pass for Baschnagel is intercepted by the Raiders. Mike Davis, who injured his ankle, the strong safety, who is so important to the Raiders.
And here's the replays. You're going to see he was going for Baschnagel, and you're going to see there's a crowd around there. There's a big crowd around Baschnagel. 3 jerseys as Mike Davis makes the interception. A super catch, just like the wide receivers do. Baschnagel puts a hand on him so that he cannot run any further, but a super play by Mike Davis, a triple coverage there, and they had that play pegged.
And as you see, the very first interception of the year for Mike Davis, one of the injured players who the Raiders have sorely missed. A tremendous man, 6'3", 210, and can he hit? So now it's 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. And Henderson is guarded watching Branch. And the pass is swung out to Frank Hawkins. Hawkins to the 25, 30-yard line. Gets to the 32-yard line. And a 1st down. And did they give Mark Wilson some great protection there? A 17-yard pickup. They line up without a huddle.
Let's give some credit to Steve Sylvester. He threw a good block on Harris downfield.
1 minute remaining in the first half. Wilson going back under pressure, going for Branch. Turned around and had trouble with the footing. It's out of bounds. It's incomplete. Stops the clock with 56 seconds to go.
That play before this one was a nice one, wasn't it? Because they had Cliff Branch split out this way. He went down the field. He'll always clear a zone out for you. And then they ran the screen in behind it and brought everybody out from the interior line. And it just worked like a picture type of play.
Derek Jensen joins Arthur Whittington in the backfield now as you look at what Mark Wilson has done. Bob Chandler was on the receiving end of his touchdown pass for 27 yards, but the point after was blocked, and that's the story. Now Chandler is wide to the right, covered by Schmidt. And in the slot is Branch. 2nd and 10 at the 31. And in a crowd, the pass intended for Derek Ramsey, the tight end, is incomplete. And defending on the play, Bruce Herron, a linebacker with some of his Bear friends.
Jeff Fisher was also there. I think Wilson spotted that double coverage, but he decided he has such a strong arm. He decided to try and get it right between the 2 white jerseys, and he threw it hard. It was very, very close there on Bruce Herron.
Well, I'll make a vote that it was a good call.
Very close call.
That he kind of hit him as the ball got there. 3rd and 10 at the 31 now. Time remaining. The Raiders have 2 timeouts left. 7-6 the Bears. Wilson outside Chandler. That's what Bob Chandler does so well. He gets open. He has the moves. He has the hands. And he managed to stop the clock with a 14-yard pickup there.
You know, the wide receivers will practice that. They'll spend 5 or 10 minutes a day sometimes just practicing those sideline patterns. Good protection. And Wilson goes to the sideline. Let's see if he keeps his 2 little toes inside, because it looks like he's surely going to be outside. He keeps the toes in and then falls down, just like a ballet, like Baryshnikov, huh? Wasn't that great?
That's right. He could teach Baryshnikov some moves, I guess.
You know, he's isn't he in Playgirl magazine? Chandler?
I don't subscribe. 1st and 10 at the 45.
He must have all kinds of talent.
With that much time remaining. The blitz is on, and the pass is complete to Derek Ramsey, the tight end, at the 45. Ramsey going to the 30 and out of bounds at the 21 with 37 seconds to go. Derek Ramsey driven out by Al Harris. 34-yard pickup, and the Raiders threat.
Okay, you can see the blitz. They take Jeff Fisher, and it's Gary Fensick who's got to make this tackle to keep it to a 5 or 6 yard gain. And he missed the tackle. Ramsey with tremendous speed there for a tight end. He got good blocks down the field. Finally, it was Al Harris, number 90, who knocked him out of bounds. You're going to look at it from ground level. There was the blitz. Todd Bell, 24, and Fisher. But Fensick was the man that had to make the play on this for Chicago. Little nice, great move there. And here's Chandler, 85. He turns down the field, and there he is. Bob Chandler's going to throw a block to help out as Ramsey takes it down deep into Chicago territory.
1st and 10 at the 21. And confusion at the line. And Wilson is sacked for the first time back at the 29-yard line. Doug Plank forcing the play, and there you see Tom Flores signaling for the timeout with 34 seconds to go in the half, and that leaves the Raiders with 1 timeout to go. So Wilson is 10 for 20 for 153 yards, but the Raiders want to make sure they still keep in field goal range.
The Bears are blitzing so much this half. I bet if we took the stats, this might be the highest percentage of blitzes in a half by a football team in a long time. They are one blitz after another.
Now, you know, they've been blitzing inside, as we want to remind you of Brent Nerve coming up at halftime, and they started to blitz outside the last couple of games. Do you see any different kind of blitzes in this game than in the past? man?
No, it's a combination of both, and they dictate the blitzes. Buddy Ryan's philosophy is that you don't blitz the quarterback, you blitz the offensive scheme of blocking the blitz, depending on how the Raider halfbacks, if one back is going to remain in the backfield, which way he slides, and his game with the center is to picking up the blitzes, and they go by how an offensive team decides they're going to block on the blitzes. So also at the same time, you have a young quarterback in Mark Wilson, and the Bears have always been much more effective defensively against younger quarterbacks because they just see a lot of things when you see Chicago on defense that they haven't seen before.
So Flores with Mark Wilson. This drive started at the 14-yard line with only a minute and 24 to go, and passes to Frank Hawkins for 17, Bob Chandler for 14, and Derek Ramsey for 34 have put the Raiders in a good spot before that sack. So it'll be 2nd and 16 at the 27 as you look at Mark Wilson's performance so far today. Brett and Irv at halftime, bring you up to date on the scores from around the league and what it means as far as the playoff scheme is concerned. And I think there was something like 17 teams still in contention for playoff berths coming into this weekend, and that'll be narrow, but there'll be a lot of people in it for next week.
Let's take a look at the Bears' defensive alignment and see if we can get an idea. They have 4 linemen in.
1 linebacker.
All those defensive backs.
4-1-6. On 2nd and 16, throwing it in the teeth of the pass defense. Mark Wilson fires. Incomplete, intended for Derek Ramsey, and Plank was there. So it'll be 3rd and 16. 28 seconds to go. The Raiders have 1 timeout to go.
Now, if I had to make a guess at what they're going to do with Wilson this time, is I don't think, you know, the logical thing to do would be for the Bears to drop off like they did that last time. But I think they're going to put another 2 or 3 man blitz. Now, by a blitz, you mean more than 1 man red dogging. If somebody says a red dog, that means it's just 1 extra man coming for the quarterback, whereas a blitz means 2 or 3 extra men.
Mike Hartenstein, number 73, has come in, and because there's confusion, Mark Wilson visibly upset as he comes down to the sideline, and the Raiders have used their last timeout of this first half, which is not what they wanted to do, and Wilson is upset. Hartenstein came in. Next Saturday on CBS. 5-1-5 defense. Hartenstein, 73, has come in.
So they have 5 defensive linemen, although normally number 90, Al Harris, a lot of times will drop off. He's in front of the tight end, Ramsey.
Derek Jensen, number 31, has come in. 3rd and 16 at the 27-yard line. They have a game on. Page hits Wilson, and the pass is thrown off to the right, intended for Branch, with Schmidt covering, but it was Alan Page who put the good pressure in on Mark Wilson.
Yes, and they went with a straight 4-man rush and dropped everybody else, but it was Page who was able to get there and put the rush on Mark Wilson. Alan Page, who will be playing only 1 more professional football game after this game, playing in his 217th consecutive game, never been hurt. He's just like Ted Hendricks, played every game. He's always ready to go. He's going to become a lawyer, as Mark Wilson very disgusted over that situation.
Bob Chandler will hold for Chris Barr. It'll be a 45-yard attempt. Barr has clicked on 8 of his last 11 field goals, his longest 51 this year, and Barr's kick is long enough and no good, off to the right. So with 18 seconds to go, the Bears, with terrific pressure, with a sack and a pressure that forced Wilson to throw the ball away, will take over 1st and 10. So once again, the Bears are alive because of their defense, Johnny.
Yes, and as I mentioned, at one stat a few minutes ago was really kind of indicative of how the team has improved. The Bears overall defensively are 12th, I think, in the NFC. But the last 5 games, they rank 1st in the NFC on total defense. Now that's what you call improvement.
Well, that's a big climb. At the 27, 1st and 10. Ted Marchibroda, who is sent into play, and judging from the Bears, they're just content to let the clock run out and go into the dressing room with a 1-point lead. That's what they'll do. The Raiders are out of timeout, so that could very well be the last play of the first half. So the Oakland Raiders coming into this game with 7-7, with 2 in a row, including a win over Pittsburgh last week. The Bears at 4-10, but the Bears defense playing superbly for the 6th week in a row. And that is the end of the first half here at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, with the Bears leading the Oakland Raiders 7-6. The missed point after the difference in this game.
Give the Olympus OM10 and you'll never worry about what to give again. Start with the OM10, for great pictures. OM system. Over 200 gifts made to fit the OM10. Give the Olympus OM10, and you'll never worry about what to give again.
So mild, and anything that looks so wild, and anything that looks so wild.
Welcome back to New York, and we're going to be back with a look at all the day's action and an explanation. And of course, as he said, CBS News will keep everybody up to date with that important story unfolding in Poland. We'll be back with the NFL scores and highlights as the NFL Today continues on CBS after these messages from your local stations. More complex than a Rubik's Cube. That's the playoff situation around the National Football League, but the Giants are still very much in the chase. They play the Dallas Cowboys next Saturday on CBS as they down the Cardinals 20-10. They have a marvelous rookie linebacker from North Carolina, Lawrence Taylor. And Lawrence, you really went after the rookie quarterback of the Cardinals, Neil Lomax.
Well, you know, they have a very fine first-year quarterback in Lomax, and he's the type of guy that can scramble a lot and really give you a lot of problems. So our first concern was to keep him contained in the pocket and not let him scramble a lot.
Watch Taylor tee off on the youngster in this sequence. The ball is jarred loose. George Martin of the Giants scoops it up and baffles his way into the end zone against the Cardinals. The Giants also have found a running back, Rob Carpenter.
You know, today in the second half, we came out and did what we had to do to win a game like this, and if we're going to go any farther, we're going to have to keep doing it.
Carpenter's stats impressive. 26 carries, 117 yards, and he was also able to score 1 touchdown out of the I formation up over the top. And the Giants roll toward the Dallas Cowboys. 20-10 was the final there. Cincinnati wraps up the AFC Central Division, downing Pittsburgh by a score of 17-10. Buffalo has clinched a spot in the AFC playoffs. They down New England. 19-10 is the final there. Washington beats Baltimore easily, 38-14. Green Bay all over New Orleans, 35-7. It's the Packers and the Jets next Sunday afternoon. And Lynn Dickey, what a job the Packers are doing. You guys are really on a roll right now.
We have, Brent, and we're hitting a hot streak right now. And I'd say this is a good time of the year to ride a hot streak. And all of our players are playing with a great deal of confidence. And we feel very good about our victory today.
None more so than the quarterback. Dickey was 19 of 21, 218 yards and 5 TDs.
I'd say the big play. JJ, on the first TD catch he made today, I really saw that he was double covered and had a guy on both the inside and the outside, and wasn't sure that I could get the ball to him, and I just was going to throw it high, and maybe if he didn't get it, nobody'd get it, but he went up and got it.
All right, then it was Lofton's turn, and watch as he turns his man inside, outside. 6 more for the Packers, and oh yes, Irv, they've got a little celebration there in Green Bay. High five. Do it again for us, folks. How about one more time?
I know it's going to be tough to beat the Jets in their own backyard, but we're going to give it our all.
Irv, what do you think about the Jets and the Packers next Sunday?
Jets and Packers, Shea Stadium. You know, Green Bay's hot. I'm going to go with them.
All right,
okay.
The Packers are on that roll right now. Other scores, San Diego 24, Tampa Bay 23. It means now that the Buccaneers will go into Detroit to play for the Lions for the NFC Central Championship next Sunday. And Miami is in the playoffs. They have downed Kansas City. 17-7 is the score. And Denver right now is ahead of Seattle 7-3. They are in the second quarter of that game. Chicago and Oakland, many of you watching that game, 7-6. Chicago with the lead there. Houston and San Francisco, they are in the third quarter. They are still scoreless. And the rest of you, of course, are watching the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, and the score there is 10-7. You know, on the field, the National Football League entertains millions of Americans every Sunday. Off the field, the NFL does its part in helping the lives of millions of folks around the world. And earlier today, Pat Summerall and some special guests in Dallas demonstrated what NFL Charities is all about.
NFL Charities was formed by the clubs of the National Football League in 1973 as a way of collectively making grants to worthy national causes. Since then, NFL Charities has made grant commitments totaling more than $4 million. A yearly recipient of the NFL Charities funding has been the United Negro College Fund. And with us today, Mr. Tex Schramm, the president of the Dallas Cowboys, and the executive director of the United Negro College Fund, Mr. Christopher Edley.
Thanks, Pat. Mr. Edley, it's really a pleasure to once again be able to emphasize the NFL's complete support of the United Negro College Fund. This grant of $25,000 brings the total commitment of the National Football League to your organization's very worthy efforts in the education of our young people to $230,000. So let me present this grant with our best wishes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The support of NFL charities and other Americans of goodwill makes it possible for the United Negro College Fund to educate thousands of talented students who otherwise would be unable to attend college. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
One final story in tennis competition today. The Davis Cup goes to the United States. John McEnroe, a winner in the 5th set over Jose Luis Clerc of Argentina. So the United States has wrapped it up again. And right now, let's go back to the stadiums and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
It is raining here in Oakland, California, as the Chicago Bears are leading the Oakland Raiders 7-6 at halftime. It is raining, and I guess the field is going to be that much more treacherous in the second half. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris, the Bears' defense, the story of the first half.
Well, both defenses, actually, because we haven't got too many points being scored, 7-6. But I would say it's been a defensive battle. But we've seen some good, crisp football playing. Some good plays on offense, a couple of touchdowns. Let's take a look at Vince Evans' touchdown pass to Ricky Watts. That was a good one. They pick up the pass block very well, and you're going to see Ricky Watts make the reception, take it in for the end zone. And this is something the Bears have been trying to do all year and just haven't been able to do it.
42-yard touchdown pass to Ricky Watts, as the Bears, who have been awfully conservative, only 2 wide receiving catches in the last 4 weeks, but they struck it here, and, you know, Watts was happy. It isn't often they catch those long touchdown passes. And then the pass to Chandler by Mark Wilson that brought the Raiders back still in the first.
Yes, he had good protection. Watch the way he throws the ball, way up and over, no sidearm. He's over the top all the way, and Chandler got into the end zone behind Terry Smith. It was a touchdown, but the Bears have the lead.
And the point after was blocked by Alan Page. That's our story, 7-6. We had no scoring in the second quarter, and we'll be back. Chicago Bears, who have never beaten the Oakland Raiders in regular season, losing 3 starts, are in front 7-6 in a defensive-minded game thus far. And the fans did come prepared here in Oakland, and I guess similar weather in San Francisco at Candlestick Park, where they have a scoreless tie between Houston and San Francisco, as Brennan Erb brought you up to date on the scores.
It's been a rainy weekend. Yesterday it rained all day in San Francisco and Oakland, and I'm surprised that the field is in as good a shape as it is, actually.
There's John Rovetto, who missed a field goal from 30 yards out earlier, will be kicking off. And deep for the Oakland Raiders, Arthur Whittington and Malcolm Barnwell.
Look at those thigh pads. Those are big thigh pads.
Barnwell to the right of Whittington. And we're underway here with third quarter in a steady rain in Oakland. And Whittington on the 2-yard line to the 20. Whittington gets to the 33-yard line, and a fine return by Whittington, who's averaged over 22 yards. Looking at the halftime statistics now, the Chicago fans will be amazed to see the edge the Bears have in yards passing, John.
170 yards passing. That's almost as many yards as they've had in the last 4 games total. Can you believe that? Vince Evans was 8 for 18. That's not too bad. They have 237 total yards to 180 for Oakland. Offensive plays fairly even. So this game, the stats are pretty even, and so is the game.
1st and 10 at the 33 as Mark Wilson brings the team out. That's what he did in the first half. Watts, Margram, Chandler caught 3 passes. And he goes down. Good pressure finally by Al Harris. He could wait only so long, and sooner or later one of those big defensive ends will get you, and Harris got Wilson there.
He got by Lindsey Mason, number 71. Watch to the right of your screen. He blocks Harris. Harris goes down first, and then he'll get up and pursue and persist on his tackle. And number 90, Al Harris, with the 2nd sack of this year.
And of course, that's 2 sacks on Mark Wilson in the game. That's 46 times that Oakland quarterbacks have been sacked, although they have sacked enemy quarterbacks 49 times, 2nd in the league. 2nd and 19 at the 24-yard line, and 5 defensive backs. Penalty flag is up, and the pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of Cliff Branch. So with all of the penalty marker down at the 25, so with all the defensive backs, Branch actually got open on that pattern.
And you know, it's the Raiders, as we catch this penalty, it's an offside penalty against Oakland. The Raiders always go early to Cliff Branch because he is their speed ball, their wide receiver, who is so important to an offense, because the defense, when they come out and say...
Offense, number 84, offside, decline, third down.
When they come out, the Bears now think, okay, they can throw to Branch. He's the one that can beat you on the bomb. So this helps dictate the defense and throws a little fear, because somebody with speed like Branch, that's all she wrote.
Home run hit.
That's right.
You know, and Al Davis gave us his theory about the great back against the great wide receiver, which we'll talk about a little later on. Mark Wilson on 3rd and 19, going up for Chandler, and it's tipped away. Terry Schmidt and Doug Plank both combining against Chandler, almost came up with it.
Yes, just like last week against the Steelers, he came back for a short pass and just outleaped the defender. And here you see number 44, Terry Schmidt, called upon. Here it is, one-on-one. He runs with him, and they're both there. Chandler has his head turned back. Schmidt finally turns back, but it was Chandler who spotted it first, almost made the grab. Doug Plank comes over to help out, and it is incomplete pass.
So it's 4th down, and Ray Guy will punt from inside the 10. He averaged just under 38 yards a kick. Jeff Fisher is deep for the Bears. Gives the Raiders a lot of chances to cover that kick, and Fisher wisely calls for the fair catch at the 35, and another penalty marker is down, right about where Fisher caught the ball. A 41-yard punt and no return, but we'll see the penalty marked off here. Fred Silva will tell us what it's all about. 7-6 to score. The Bears lead the Raiders, and the third quarter was the lowest scoring quarter for both these teams this year. Apparently it's against Chicago. An illegal block on the return, and that'll put the Bears deeper into their own territory as they start this first drive for them in this third quarter.
It might be on Emery Moorhead.
On the run back, number 43.
You got
illegal. Block below the waist.
Eagle Eye Johnny Morris has picked it up, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Chicago Bears at the 20-yard line.
In other words, you can't hit them low on the return. You know, that was a rule change several years ago, and Emery just forgot.
Waller at the 20. Roland Harper, 10 carries, 41 yards, the leading rusher in the first half for the Bears. Payton just gained 6 yards on 3 carries. And it's Walter Payton trying to get something up the middle. And there's not much to choose. Johnny Robinson, the middle guard, number 68, in the 4th-round draft choice, made the stop on it.
Did you notice that Payton was running out of the I formation? They haven't used that formation very much in this football game so far, and I think maybe probably because of some strategy, but also because they're not going to emphasize Payton carrying the ball because of the bad leg.
Payton caught 2 passes for 27 yards in the first half. Matsui, we want to remind you again, out with cracked ribs. They took x-rays. We don't know the results of those, but he will not be back in this one. 2nd and 7 at the 23. And Evans looking to run, and he finds an opening. Evans will have a first down beyond the 30. Still going to the 40 as he slides forward, and Matt Millen slid with him. A 17-yard pickup or so, and the Bears have a first down.
He put a good move on Otis McKinney, too, as he broke out of the pocket. Nice instinct by Vince Evans, and this is what the coach has been saying, and a lot of people who like Vince Evans, because he has all the material that you need to be a great quarterback. This is what he has to do, is come up with the big play when things break down and take off and go. Now you're going to see that he can run. McKinney, number 23, will come up for the tackle, puts a little dipsy-do on him and gets out of it and takes it down. First down, Chicago Bears. Vince Evans having one of his better games of this 1981 football season.
So he now gained 24 yards in 3 carries, Vince Evans, as he has a 1st and 10 on the 40. Bears lead at 7-6, and the pitch goes to Payton with Roland Harper blocking. And Walter is hit hard as he goes out of bounds at the 44-yard line, and another penalty flag is down. Dwayne Osteen, the safety, made the play.
Well, did you notice the contact between Payton and Osteen? Let's see what this penalty is. Let's check the penalty.
Silva's pointing to the Bears, and the way the Bears are lining up, apparently it's against Chicago.
They might have called it. They might. Now, I'm just guessing. They might have called it against Payton, believe it or not.
Offense, number 52.
Nope.
Holding. First down.
That's Dan Neal.
Dan Neal, but Payton knows how to punish a defender, and sometimes he puts his arm out and hits a defender in the face guard, or he'll blast him to give him punishment, and he's very seldom called on that, and it's really illegal.
You can stiff arm, but you can't use the forearm. 1st and 20 now for the Bears as 2 wide receivers go wide to the right. They're at the 30-yard line. Play action. And the pass. Payton. Not much he can do. Ted Hendricks just waited for him to come to him. He's out of bounds at the 35-yard line, so they gained back 5 of those yards. It'll be 2nd and 15. Ted Hendricks, the Mad Stork, making the play on Walter Payton, who has gone over 100 yards in his career 46 times.
Look at those arms on Hendricks. He got everything taped up. Looks like Man Mountain Dean. And Matuzak, they got some intimidating guys over there, haven't they?
2 #1 draft choice on a, it was a free agent, right? 2nd and 15 at the 35. Nickel defense for Oakland. Evans in trouble. Coming back into the pattern, and the pass is incomplete. Kenny, it was Brooks Williams, the tight end. But quite a hit put on Vince Evans, another Southern Cal.
Yeah, it's going to be Howard Long, number 75. I think it puts the hit on it. As Evans goes back in the pocket, can't find anybody open, then takes off, which he does so well, and has to turn his body because he's running left. Gets hit as Cedric Hardeman puts a little hit on him, and then it was Long, and he almost got the pass complete, believe it or not.
3rd and 15. Opening minutes, 3rd quarter, 7-6 the Bears. Evans looping it up. And incomplete for Baschnagel. Defending on the play, Lester Hayes. Lester Hayes, step for step with Brian Baschnagel, and that was similar to the play Avellini hit Baschnagel for the 72-yard touchdown last week.
Yes, great play by Hayes, and actually a super throw by Vince Evans under pressure. He just put it out there for Baschnagel to run, and Hayes just put that mitt out there and batted that ball away. Great play by number 37.
Ted Watts, deep to receive.
So it's 4th down and 15, and Bob Parsons will have to punt from the 20. He's approaching the NFL all-time standards for most punts in a season. He's gone over 100. Ted Watts is deep at the 25.
The Raiders were offsides.
Watts giving ground. And down at the 15 or 16-yard line. So Bob Parsons with a 46-yard kick, and he leads the NFL in most kicks inside the 20. But as Johnny pointed out, there is an offside penalty against the Oakland Raiders, and the Bears will have an option. And an injured player down as well. Pick it up from Silva.
Offense, number 37, offside.
Bruce Herron is the
down.
injured player, I believe.
Herron comes in a lot of times on the pass coverage in the Bears' wild different defenses, as you see Lester Hayes coming off the field. One thing about the Bears defense is that everybody plays. Everybody on that defensive team plays in one situation or another.
Timeout. 3rd quarter. Bears hold on to that slim lead. The bruised knee, and that'll tell you the story of the Oakland Raiders, and will tell you a bigger story of the Chicago Bears defense. The last 5 times Oakland's had the ball.
3 plays punt. Quite often, 3 times out of the 5.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line, so the Bears have the Raiders where they want them. They can keep it up. And Arthur Whittington goes outside, was almost tripped up first by Brian Cabral. And Gary Fensick makes the hit short of the 20-yard line, pickup of about 3 yards. Gary Fensick out of Yale University.
That's right.
Originally, I guess, Miami Dolphin to a high draft choice, or I should say low, around number 10 or so.
All right, and they got him as a free agent. He's from Chicago. One great thing for football players to be able to play in the city where you were born, and that's got to be fantastic.
That's a dream all athletes have, as Whittington tries to go off the left side and doesn't get much. Mike Singletary is in on the play, and Gary Campbell, who was originally with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's how he got to the Bears. So Singletary from another ball club, Fensick before him, but I should say Campbell, but Singletary all the way as the fans are taking the reign here. 5-1-5 defense now by the Bears on a 3rd and 6 at the 19 from Mark Wilson.
Let's see how many guys come.
Derek Jensen and Whittington in the backs. Stepping up, penalty marker down, and the pass is incomplete. Chandler was the closest to the ball, and Schmidt defending, but we'll have a holding call against the Oakland Raiders And apparently that'll be declined. It'll be 4th down in a punting situation.
The Bears had a regular 4-man rush that
Number
time.
60, holding, refused.
Kurt Marsh, the
4th
rookie.
down.
Marsh replaced Gene Upshaw, rookie from the University of Washington. One of 2 picks on the 1st round, Watts the other, and Marsh is a young player, just as Howard Long is, the 2nd round draft choice. 21, 22 years old. They're going to grow. And Ray Guy, of course, has been around quite a while. Outstanding kicker. Deep for the Bears is Jeff Fisher at the 33-yard line. 4th down. And Guy been punting from way back there all game. Boots it from the 10. He gets a good high kick. Fisher will call for the fair catch at the 35-yard line. So the Bears will have decent field position, but it has not been a field position game. A 46-yard punt by Guy. The Bears still lead at 7-6, 10:31 to go in the 3rd. Bears haven't fared much better than the Raiders the last 5 possessions. A couple of turnovers and 3 punts. They had a pretty good drive with 11 plays. 6 of the 8 passes that were completed by Evans have been to the outside men, which is unusual. 1st and 10 at the 35. Ricky Watts wide to the left. Dash Nagel to the right. And passing on 1st down, and it's complete for a 1st down. And that's Ricky Watts. So Watts, who caught the 42-yard touchdown pass, is hit by Osteen, and in another 1st down for the Bears.
Okay, Ricky Watts down. He wasn't split all that wide, and Evans just waited. Good pass protection, waited for him to make his turn in, and Osteen couldn't do anything about it. He faked. Did you notice that little shoulder fake like he was going to throw to the sidelines, and he zipped it right into Ricky Watts, brought it home.
12-yard pickup, 1st and 10 Bears at their own 47, under 10 minutes to play, 9:55, 3rd quarter. And going outside is Walter Payton. Robin Earl trying to block for him, and Walter Payton will go out of bounds in Oakland territory at the 47. Otis McKinney makes the tackle, and a good 5-yard pickup for number 34 from Jackson State.
1,132 yards rushing, and they say it's been a little bit of an off year for him. He still has 1,132 yards. Always wears that mouthpiece. He keeps it close by.
As the rain really comes down, you know, it was an interesting statistic. In the games that Payton has gone over 100, the Bears record 20-3 at Soldier Field when he goes over 100, only 12-11 on the road.
That's interesting. When you're on the road, you don't win as often. That's got something to do with it.
2nd and 5 at the 48. Payton again dives forward, gets 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and let's say 3 as Rod Martin makes the tackle on Walter Payton. Around the league, San Francisco over Houston, 14-0, and the 49ers trying to seal down a home field advantage in the playoffs. Dallas has come back and leading Philadelphia 14-10. Dallas has the same idea in mind, Johnny.
Yes, Dallas would be 12-3 if they beat the Eagles, and the Eagles would still be hard-pressed to make it as a wild card.
Dallas has come back and leading Philadelphia 14-10. Dallas has in mind, Johnny.
Yes, Dallas would be 12-3 if they beat the Eagles, and the Eagles would still be hard-pressed to make it as a wild card.
And he does for a 1st down. 30-yard line. Evans still going out of bounds at the 20. So Vince Evans finally knocked out of bounds by Burgess Owens after a 25-yard pickup, and he must have had hours to look for a receiver.
I've got my little stopwatch, and we're going to time it and give a rough idea. Of course, this is slow motion, but anyway, he had all day. He couldn't find anybody, and the Raiders just gave up on the pass rush. Finally says, okay, I can't find anybody. Nobody wants to come after me. I'm going to remember the ball, have a good time. He carries it one-handed, gets through, and he puts a move on number 68, Johnny Robinson, right here as he avoids the tackle and then takes off towards the sideline and finally gets down as the Chicago Bears have a 1st down knocked out by Burgess Owens.
4 carries, 49 yards, 45 yards for Vince Evans. 1st and 10 at the 21. And here is Payton. Nowhere to go, and he gets away from a tackle. Look at these moves on the wet turf in Oakland. And another Chicago 1st down inside the 10.
Ted Hendricks had him dead to rights. Number 83 thought he had him. And did you notice? You can tell that Payton is not 100%. His leg, he is not cutting the way he can normally run. But he has a very unique situation of carrying the ball, as you're going to see. Now watch him. He carries it in the middle. And look at that. Bounced around. He says, I've got it. Here's Hendricks, had a perfect beat on him, and he got away from that one. cuts back here, avoids another tackle. And I'll tell you what, that's why he's gained almost 10,000 yards in less than 7 years.
Gain of 12. First and goal at the 9 for the Bears. Leading 7-6. Roland Harper making Willie McClendon gets inside the 5. So Willie McClendon from Georgia, stopped by Johnny Robinson, and of course McClendon had his best game against Kansas City when Peyton was out in the 4th quarter and in the overtime in the game that the Bears defeated Kansas City. So Willie McClendon, his 3rd year out of Georgia, now gives way as Peyton had a breather.
Well, McClendon's a different style of runner than Peyton. He'll turn up the field here. Now he dip his head and go. See, he's got a little bit different style of running. He's a hard runner and a fast runner, but not quite as shifty as Walter Payton, who is back in the lineup. Walter is back with Roland Harper.
Second and goal after 3 with 7:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 7-6 Bears. Nothing.
That's Roland Harper.
Big John Matuzak.
Twos, they call him, and boy, is he a big guy. John Matuzak makes the stop on Harper, 6'8", 285 pounds. Crush him twos, they say.
And he's not a bad actor. Did you see him in, what was that,
North Dallas
40? He did a good job in that.
He's a comedian, an actor, and a lot of things, and he symbolizes the Raiders' penchant for picking up people who are not wanted by other clubs.
And you know what? I don't think he was acting in that movie.
3rd and goal at the 3-yard line for the Bears. Evans, touchdown. Ricky Watts, his 2nd touchdown reception of the day. Lester Hayes was defending him, but a look-in pattern that's tough to stop, Johnny.
Yes, it is. Hayes intercepted one last week on the same type of a pattern, but not this time, as Vince Evans brought it to the inside and low to Ricky Watts for the touchdown. There was a flag on the play, but apparently... Okay, you're going to see from the right, Ricky Watts, number 80, will come with Lester Hayes, 37. Here comes the Matt Millen.
That's the Bears' scoring drive as they take a 14-6 lead. And Rivetto will kick off. The Chicago Bears looking for their 5th win in their 3rd out of 3 games against AFC Western Division clubs, with Denver coming up in the season finale at Soldier Field next week. Rivetto will be kicking off. And back deep for the Oakland Raiders. Arthur Whittington, number 22, and Malcolm Barnwell, number 80. And that's a fine kick by Rivetto out the end zone. Touchback, and the Raiders will take over on the 20-yard line. So Rivetto really got some good foot into that kickoff.
Yes, we had a little help from that penalty situation. And so now the Raiders will have a 1st down at the 20-yard line.
We want to apologize for our audio and video problems, and a smile on the face for Neil Armstrong. We'll tell you that the Bears are looking good, leading 14-6. Evans hits Watts with a 3-yard touchdown pass. And of course, the roughing the passer penalty, they marked it off on the kickoff, and Rivetto kicked it out of the end zone. So Mark Wilson has it 1st and 10 at the 20 with 6:37 to go, 3rd quarter. Raiders down 14-6. And Wilson to the air in the rain here in Oakland. Going for Chandler. Chandler has it at the 41. Terry Schmidt defending a 21-yard pickup and a 1st down. Boy, this guy gets open all the time.
And that was a super catch on Schmidt, because if notice very closely, his hands are inverted. In other words, the wrong hand is at the bottom and the wrong hand at the top, according from the way they teach you to catch the ball. But he still made the grab and took it out of bounds.
Biletnikoff used to catch that way.
Well, he was pretty good.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Bob, excuse me. Bob Chandler from USC, originally with Buffalo. 1st and 10 at the 41. Looping it up for Chandler, and knocked away by Fensick. And a fine defensive play by Fensick, who had him short, Schmidt long. And they double covered Chandler, and the penalty flag is down. A lot of those yellow flags tossed around today. They're getting as wet as the people.
And it was thrown in the line play situation, so you know who it usually will go against.
Frank Hawkins comes in at running back for the Raiders, replacing Derek Jensen.
Offense, number 60, holding.
So Kurt
First
Marsh
down.
has had his problems. I think that's about the 3rd time he's been penalized today. Malcolm Barnwell, number 80. And we asked Al Davis if there's a player on the roster who could be an heir apparent to Cliff Branch. He said Malcolm Barnwell could be the man. Barnwell, 7th-round draft choice in his 2nd year. Nickel defense and pressure all over the place. And here is Frank Hawkins. And Hawkins is caught from behind.
Oh, what a super play by Mark Hartenstein.
So Hawkins is stopped by Hartenstein. In case you missed the touchdown to give the Bears a 14-6 lead, it was 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line, and Evans found Ricky Watts.
And he beat the Matt Millen blitz 55, and then Watts got the inside position on Lester Hayes, and it was an easy touchdown. Sometimes those can come out to be so easy when the mechanics are right, and there's nothing that a good cornerback can do about it if the mechanics are right, if you let him get inside position on you.
Watts, the 2nd and 3rd touchdown receptions of the year. Derek Jensen is in there now, running back, pressure on Wilson. He may not get away as a fumble. And let's see, Alan Page may have recovered. The Bears have it. Alan Page recovers it as Hartenstein. And the veteran Page stormed in on Mark Wilson.
And there was a whole bunch of Chicago Bears that came storming in, 4 of them, and they all put the pressure on. And Wilson didn't see the man from the backside. Alan Page is 82. He's going out of the picture. Now you're going to see Dan Hampton is putting the pressure on and forcing Mark Wilson to cut back. But Page kept up with these pass rush, came from the backside, forced the fumble, got the ball. Great play by Alan Page and the Bear defensive line. Chicago's ball.
With 5.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter, the Bears can really open it up. You can't say that too many times, as Ricky Watts has caught 2 touchdown passes. 1st and 10 at the 22. Roland Harper and Willie McClendon will be the running backs. Coming out of the huddle for Vince Evans. Watts to the left, Bassnagel to the right. On 1st down. Big fumble recovery by Alan Page. And Page going to the air, finds Ricky Watts, and it's in and out of his hands. He was there, and it's an incomplete pass. Dwayne Osteen was defending, but a good pattern, but he just didn't hold on to the ball, and now Evans is 11 for 24.
He had that quick post in there and had the spot. There's just a touch behind him, and he could not hang on to the ball. But once again, the Bears throw on 1st down, as Evans is throwing really better than we've seen him. Here's an isolation, as you're going to see Watts go down about 8 yards. Boom, inside. Here comes the ball. Should be right there. If it was right there, it was catchable. It was catchable. Not the best pass in the world, but he should have had it.
Marjoram, 89, is in there. Brooks Williams, 83, who can catch passes as a tight end. They're going for Brooks Williams, and Williams can't make the play. Covered from behind.
Oh, that looked like a sure. There should have been interference on that play.
They're yelling for interference. Brooks Williams, the tight end, picked up from the New Orleans Saints as perhaps the best receiving tight end the Bears have, with Bob Fisher out of there, although Fisher's been activated.
Burgess Owens made the tackle. Right. And the ball's thrown to the left. There he is on the court. He turns back to the left and makes the super grab. Kenny Marjoram showing why he is well worth a number 3-round draft choice. And here comes Kenny, just like out on the bay when he does his windsurfing, up and over and slam bam.
Ken Marjoram, 3rd-round draft choice from Stanford. Rovetto will attempt the point after here with Bassnagel holding, and we'll have a whistle in the line. And I'll tell you, Noah Jackson was knocked back about 10 yards.
Well, he kind of helped it a little along as Matt Millen, 55, came across. They're going to call it against Chicago.
I don't think Millen's happy today. He crunched out Matsui and cracked some ribs early. Jackson is pushing Millen.
I think he's kind of kidding with him there a little bit.
5:14 to go, 3rd quarter. Silva's enjoying it.
Center, 63. Ball start.
Jay Hilgenberg, free agent rookie. So now they will try it from the 16. 26 yards for Rovetto. And the kick is up and good, so it's now 21-6 as the Bears are opening up. And as you mentioned before, John, it's great to play in the town in which you went to school, your hometown, but it must be just about as sweet for Marjoram to make his first NFL touchdown reception before the home folks in the Bay Area. Well, celebrate New Year's Day on CBS Sports with the Cotton Bowl. He'll never forget that.
You have to be happy for him. For a receiver who catches 10 passes in one game, which he did against Minnesota, and then to go 4 games in a row without having a ball even thrown at you, that is very, very frustrating as you look at the stadium as the Bears getting ready to kick off. And his mother's here, his sister's here, relatives are here, so Kenny Marjorum's got to be a very happy young man.
Marjoram, of course, trying to catch Harlan Hill, who in 1954 caught 45 passes, a record for a Bear wide receiver as a rookie.
Yeah, but, you know, if he breaks that record, that's great for Kenny Marjoram, but Harlan Hill played in 12 games, and, you know, now they play 16 games. That makes a heck of a difference.
That's a good point. Malcolm Barnwell, along with Arthur Whittington.
And
Rovetto kicking off.
Deep. John Rovetto kicking off.
And this is shorter than the last time when he had a 15-yard edge and knocked it through. Barnwell returning. Barnwell still going as he returns it to the 26-yard line. I want to remind you that the NFL today will kick off a big day of football next week as we come closer to the end of the year. The New York Giants, who are now 8-7, beating the Cardinals today against the Dallas Cowboys, who were leading the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas looking for home field. Giants looking for wild card. And these teams have had some rough games up in the Meadowlands before. So tune in Saturday, 11 o'clock Central, and it all begins with the NFL today. Barnwell is in the game and goes wide to the left. Bob Chandler splits to the right. Derek Jensen and Arthur Whittington on the backs, and Mark Wilson. Here comes a blitz by Doug Plank. Wilson trying to get away from Hampton. Now Page, and he lofts it for Barnwell, and it's incomplete. Henderson is defending against Barnwell, but a lot of pressure put inside on Mark Wilson. As you look at Barnwell, who's from Virginia Union and spent last year on injured reserve, and good speed.
Okay, you'll see Doug Plank coming. There he goes, shooting right up the middle. He's picked up, but he causes the confusion, and Dan Hampton, number 99 here, is the one that's putting pressure on Wilson to go out. Then he throws it down the field, and Henderson recovered very well because he had been beaten, but the pass was short. And the reason the pass was short was because he was under pressure and throwing on the run.
We were talking about this last night. Have you seen Henderson beaten by anyone in the games we have seen him lately?
No, I don't think he's really beaten flat out all year.
5-1-5 defense for the Bears. On 2nd and 10, the pass, Whittington makes the catch, but he gets clobbered and ends up with a net gain of about 2 yards. Doug Plank was right in there. Otis Wilson, I see, is in the ball game.
Yes, he's playing in special situations as Plank got one of his hits. We were talking about Henderson. He did get beat in the Kansas City game, but that was just a super catch by, who was that wide receiver for the Chiefs anyway?
Smith.
But yes. But anyway, he hasn't been beaten where somebody's been 2 or 3 yards behind him. He has made a few mistakes on zone coverages, but Henderson, man for man, boy, he is tough to beat for a rookie playing on the corner. As we look at Mark Wilson, who is tough to beat as a quarterback, a rookie quarterback in the NFL.
He's their future. Plunkett was benched, and Wilson with 3rd and 9 now at the 28. Wilson drills it. Incomplete. Bob Chandler. If there's anyone that can catch it off the tip or a deflection, it would be Bob Chandler, but not that time.
And there's a team that's tough to beat when they get on top of you. It is the Bears. The Bears usually lose their games because they get behind and, you know, and they get beat. But when the Bears do get on top with Buddy Ryan's style of defenses, they are tough. And it's tough to come from behind to beat the Bears. You got to get on top of them early.
The Chicago sideline, as Ray Guy will punt from the 15-yard line. That's what he's done today. He came into this game second to Pat McAnally of Cincinnati of the AFC. Jeff Fisher, and the Bears come in to try to block it. Fisher at the 24 and gets to the 31-yard line, and that's all. 48-yard kick. So let's check some scores around the league right now. Miami beating Kansas City 17-7. Miami clinches a wild card, and if they beat Buffalo next week, they win the AFC Eastern Division. Big win in Kansas City, I would have to say, knocked out of it. Washington 38-14 over hapless Baltimore as the Colts have lost their 14th in a row. Buffalo stays alive. Big flash coming up next week as they beat New England 19-10. 1st and 10 at the 31. Marjoram in motion toward the line. 21-6 as Roland Harper.
Roland Harper, the ball
Harper to the 36.
And Willie McClendon is in the game for Walter Payton now, as you see Mr. McClendon. And we're going to look at some more scores. There it is. Cincinnati 17, Pittsburgh 10. The Steelers are out of it. The Bengals have won the AFC Central Division. They are 11-4. Green Bay Packers and Bart Starr 35-7 over New Orleans. The Packers, I believe, have won 6 of their last 7 games. Now that's what you call turning it around.
And a great shot for the wild card. All be decided next week. Green Bay against the Jets. We'll tell you more about that. Roland Harper going outside and can't get anywhere. Dave Browning, the defensive left end, just stormed in.
He got by Ted Albrecht, number 64, the left tackle, and
on to the 14-10 lead over Philadelphia. The Eagles have to continue to win. They've got St. Louis next week. Cardinals dealt a blow by the Giants. Evans 13 for 27 for 220 yards in the game. One of his better passing days. And a good running day for Vince Evans as well. And he throws off balance, complete to Baschnagel. First down, but a penalty flag is down at the 45. Owens makes the stop on Baschnagel, who has enough for the first down. And there was an eligible man for the Bears downfield. And the Raiders will obviously accept the penalty, nullifying that first down for Chicago. Raiders won 2 of their first 3 games and then were shut out in succession by Detroit, Denver, and Kansas City, coming in 7-7.
You think offense, number 78, illegally downfield. Same down, first down.
Keith Van Horn. Well, he went to USC. He's so used to running the ball, he didn't think they were going to ever throw it. Okay, there is Neil Armstrong. There's Keith Van Horn.
Number 1 draft pick. Right tackle, Dennis Lake will be back next year. So will Muckenstern, Walter Scheid. Bears get a couple of good defensive players and a good offensive tackle on a draw play. Willie McClendon going outside. They have some running room, and McClendon dives forward to the 40 and maybe getting back to the original line of scrimmage before Lester Hayes makes the tackle. Denver Broncos with a 9-5 record going against last place Seattle, 16-3 in the third quarter. The Bronx in front.
Seattle was 5-9 going in, so they'll be 5-10 if they lose that football game. They've lost Jim Zorn.
Denver can clinch, you know, by holding on to their lead.
It'll be theirs.
So Cincinnati wrapped it up. Miami won a playoff berth. And Denver can do the same in the AFC. NFC, I'll tell you about 21-6. Marjoram goes in motion. 2nd and 12 at the 39. And the pass is incomplete, out of bounds, intended for Kenny Marjoram. In the NFC, Dallas has clinched a playoff berth as Evans is slow getting up. Philadelphia needs that wild card. In the Central, Tampa Bay and Detroit clash for the marbles next week. And in the West, San Francisco has it wrapped up with a lot of clubs in wild card contention.
There's a look on John Matuzak's face. He got through there and put a little hit on Vince Evans as he threw the football. And you can see the marks of battle. Evans' helmet is caked with mud, but you know, yeah, we can almost read the lips there and call the play.
5 defensive backs in there for the Raiders at 3rd and 12 at the 39. 3 wide receivers. Evans drills it. Complete to Baschnagel. Baschnagel has a first down to the 42-yard line of Oakland. A fine pattern and a fine catch before Mike Davis makes the hit on the former Ohio State performer. 19-yard pickup.
Okay, Baschnagel is at the top of your screen. Now you're going to see Marjoram goes down the field, clears. Here comes Baschnagel across Ted Hendricks, number 83, who was going actually the opposite direction, like 2 freight trains passing in the night. And Baschnagel, trying to find a spot to go, made the grab, took his punishment, and got a first down. And the Bears have almost, this game, passed for as many yards as they have in the entire 4 games prior to this.
That's what Baschnagel has done. 3 catches. Marjoram has caught 3, and Watts has caught 5. And so the Chicago Bears going to the outside, and that is the end of the third quarter with the score. Bears 21, Oakland 6. Back with the start of the 4th after this word from your local station. Start of the 4th quarter here at Oakland Coliseum. It's been gloomy and rainy, but not for the Chicago Bears, who lead at 21-6. Dick Stockton and Johnny Morris with you. And it is 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Marcus Anderson, number 88, is in at wide receiver, and he split to the right for the Bears, and carrying the ball up the field for a couple of yards is Roland Harper. In first downs in the second half, the Bears have 8 and Oakland has 1. Net yards rushing, Chicago 146, Oakland 36. So they're running and passing.
Hey.
And we are covered here, huh? The rain hasn't gotten to us yet, as the Bears are an unusual blowout game to this point, John.
Yes, over Al Davis and his Raiders.
And he takes these losses tough, doesn't he?
You bet he does.
2nd and 7 at the 39. Evans back. Robin Earl, the tight end, incomplete and knocked away by Mike Davis. Johnny, wouldn't you think that the Bears would start to go to the ground game more?
Well, they did it. They ran a couple of plays. I mean, they are so unused to having success in the air that, and especially at this point of the season, why not throw the... There's Al Davis.
Yeah.
There is Al Davis, and that gum's going fast. Al has got to be a little bit upset.
Yeah, I'd like to come back to him after this play, because we did spend some time with him before the game. 3rd and 7 at the 39. Evans tried to strip the ball away, and he sacked the first time that the Raiders, who are 2nd in the NFL in sacks, got to Evans. Dave Browning, and that's the 50th sack of the year, so it's 4th down. Al Davis, managing general partner, and he doesn't feel that this is just an off year for the Raiders. He says, it hurts me, I'm a sore loser, that's how I feel about this team. And he says there's no such thing, you don't gain anything this year by having all those injuries in a losing year. He felt that the Raiders should have been in there. And an interesting point about what he considers an important man on offense, too, which Sean could refer to after this. Parsons' punt. Watts calling for the fair catch at the 6-yard line. Johnny, we talked about the greatness of Walter Payton, and he has a lot of regard for Walter Payton, but the philosophy of Al Davis is a little different than what we've seen. And with a timeout, Johnny will come and explain that in a moment. Al Davis, a man with a coach's mind, John.
Yes, he loves to coach. We wanted to talk about this, but right now we're watching a play here, and I'll talk about Al Davis's philosophy in just a moment.
1st and 10 at the 7. Here's a blitz. Mark Wilson in trouble, and a safety. Doug Plank, among others, got to Mark Wilson, and there's a safety. And the Bears have upped their lead now to 23 to 6, and they'll get the ball. Doug Plank.
And I think it was the running back who missed the block, 27. I believe it was Frank Hawkins who's going to get an F on this play. If I'm correct in my observation, I think it was number 27 who's got the responsibility. He comes up there, he's got to hit that guy and keep him out. Plank ran right over him and made the safety. So great play by Doug Plank. Mark Wilson goes down. He got some help from Mike Hartenstein as the Bears get the safety and now take the lead 23 to 6. We'll be back with the Bears on top.
Kick following the safety by Ray Guy and Jeff Fisher at the 15-yard line. And Fisher gets to the 37-yard line where he's tackled by Derek Jensen. Al Davis builds winners.
Well, not this year, because it looks like they're going to go 7 and 8, so they'll be under the 500 mark. But his philosophy has been that he says Peyton's great, but he said one of the main reasons for our success is that we always had a wide receiver with speed. He said we had a Warren Wells, or we had an Art Powell, or we had Cliff Branch. And he said they dictate defenses more than any running back ever will. And he said that's been the secret to the Oakland Raiders' success.
Matter of philosophy, and you can't argue with the record of Al Davis. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. And on a reverse, McClendon hemmed in inside his 30, and that was a play that didn't work. A lot of them have worked for the Bears today, but not that one, as Randy McClanahan put the seal on McClendon as the Bears have rolled up some 23 to 6 lead. San Francisco, even though they've wrapped it up, they've beaten Cincinnati and Houston, and they've got a good steam ahead of them.
And what a job Bill Walsh has done. Can you imagine? They're going to be 12-3, and with a defense of mostly rookies, a defense that gave up more yards than anybody else last year, and they're going to end up being 12-3. Denver 16 to 6 over Seattle, 3rd quarter.
13 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 16 for Evans. Dumps this one off now to McClendon. McClendon gets just to the 31-yard line.
Rod Martin made the tackle.
Rod Martin and McClanahan combined to make the stop. They're looking at Rod Martin, who is named the top Raider player, who exemplifies the pride and poise of the Oakland Raiders before the game. Some of the Hardy fans staying here. Hardy not so much because of the cold. It isn't that cold here.
Somebody save our Raiders.
You haven't seen that sign up for many years. Nickel defense and 4 down linemen. As Hardman and Long in there for the Raiders. A 3rd and 16.
Uh-oh. A little collision.
No flag. Bashnagel was back there. Marjoram was tripped up by Owens. But no penalty, so apparently either the ball wasn't in his area or else he tripped up himself.
It was incidental collision. I think that's what they're ruling, that no interference, and he wouldn't have gotten there anyway. The pass was way long.
Burgess Owens, a former New York Jet. Tom Flores going through rough sledding this season. And Neal trying to salvage something here. Parsons to punt from the 15. Ted Watts is deep at the 30. Watts returned a 52-yard touchdown on a punt return against the Steelers and loses yardage here. McClendon getting a chance to play, making the most of it. And Watts was hit hard. Willie McClendon with a good play following the 34-yard punt. Timeout with the Bears romping over the Raiders 23-6.
This Christmas card was sent to you by the people at Miller High Life. Merry Christmas.
What do you think, John?
They're Hardy fans. Hardy fans. Not too many of them left in that section.
Those are the only ones. 1st and 10 at the 37. Plank is showing a blitz, and then they move back as Arthur Whittington going outside, turns the corner, and Whittington close to a 1st down. Gary Fensick makes the stop. Arthur Whittington showing some of the outside speed that the Raiders like.
Give some credit to Derek Ramsey, number 84. He ties up Al Harris. And there's Harris got tied up, and then he got around the horn and made a nice game before Gary Fensick knocks him out of bounds.
Bears scored first. Evans to Watts, 42 yards, 7-0. Wilson hit Chandler. Point after was blocked by Page. At the half, it was 7-6. Stayed that way till the 3rd quarter when Evans hit Watts to make it 14-6, and the Bears have rolled on from there. Play action. And Wilson is down. Fumble as well. And it's recovered by Oakland. And the recovery is made by Mickey Marvin, the offensive right guard, but that is the 5th sack against Mark Wilson today. 5 sacks for the Bears.
Alan Page and Jim Osborne in there. Watch the pass rush here. You're going to see Alan Page come straight out, gets doubled, and here comes Osborne, number 68, to hit Wilson as he was trying to throw at the last second. Hartenstein, 73, was right there, says, there it is, I got it.
He had it.
And then, boom, he lost it, and it's still Oakland's ball.
Mickey Marvin, 5 sacks for 45 yards, but now it is 3rd and 12 at the 35, and there is Mickey Marvin. Marvin and Lawrence are working on to make a pretty solid right side of the offensive line after the Raiders had a solid left side for so many years. At the 35-yard line, Wilson throws, caught by Barnwell, and a 38-yard line. Malcolm Barnwell with the reception, and that is his 4th catch of the year. He has scored 1 touchdown from Virginia Union, 7th-round draft choice last year.
Boy, he had all day to throw that ball. Good blocking by the Raiders offensive line. And watch Bob Chandler. He almost deflected the ball. Number 85 thought the ball was being thrown to him, and he leaps up right there, just missed the ball, and then it went on further down the field to Barnwell for the reception. First down for the Oakland Raiders.
At the 39, Barnwell, who Al Davis told us could be an heir apparent to Cliff Branch with that great outside speed. 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go, and they need a new football because they're getting wet out there, and they have to come in with a dry ball.
Do you know how many footballs a team has to have available for a game?
I don't really know, and I don't want to guess, John.
24. 24 balls.
I was going to say 3.
3? We'd have been playing with something else other than footballs by this time.
It was 14-6 when Evans hit Marjoram, a 22-yard pass play. Marjoram's first NFL touchdown. Made it 21-6, and then the safety by Plank. Both wide receivers to the left. Henderson is watching Chandler, and the pass is lofted towards Barnwell and Chandler, and it is almost intercepted, and it is. It is hit off the hand of Henderson, and Gary Fensick has made the interception for the Chicago Bears, his 5th of the year, to take over the club leadership. But it was first touched by Henderson.
The thing that Wilson did on this was he really lofted it way high in the air that gave everybody a chance to get under. It was almost like a punt. And everybody was able to recover and react to the ball. And it's Henderson, number 20, who deflects it. And watch 45. He's very alert there. And that was Gary Fensick with the interception in the end zone. First down, Chicago at their own 20-yard line.
Well, last week it was Fisher and Henderson. The Bears secondary getting stronger and stronger as we go on. We understand that we've had some video problems for the viewers back in Chicago. We want to show the last scoring play. That was the touchdown pass
by Kenny Marjoram,
right,
number 89. And if you'll see right here, he's going down the field. He goes to the side, to the corner, and then turns back, has to adjust his body. Made the grab for the touchdown for Kenny Marjoram out of Stanford, and then he throws it into the stands, and hopefully his mother caught the ball because she's up there in those stands.
So that was Marjoram's first NFL touchdown reception. Willie McClendon has carried the ball for 2 yards. So it's 2nd and 8 now at the 22-yard line. 9:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bears lead at 23-6, and they have shut out the Raiders since that early touchdown. Wilson to Chandler.
And the Bears have chosen not to play Walter Payton with that sore leg and the fact that they do have the big lead.
Roland Harper, the upback, number 35. Willie McClendon, the D-back. And it's McClendon. Gets to the 26-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and about a long 4. Ted Hendricks makes the tackle. Many of the fans are leaving Oakland Coliseum. A different story a year ago when the Raiders got in as a wild card under the Cinderella arm of Jim Plunkett and rode to the AFC Championship and then the win over the Philadelphia Eagles. But what a difference a year makes, and we can say that about a lot of clubs the other way around, like 49ers in Cincinnati.
Yes, fortunes have changed from one side of the bay to the other side this year in the San Francisco area as the fans show a little bit of displeasure. But listen, they've had a couple of Super Bowl titles. That's a lot more than the Chicago Bears have had.
3rd and 5 at the 25. Here's a blitz, and instead, up the middle goes McClendon. Matuzak makes the stop up the middle, and it'll be 4th down. And they'll kick it away. So McClendon seeing perhaps the most action he has seen all year. Kansas City, I guess, was the second biggest game for him as Twos goes out. Bob Parsons has really had to use that foot this year with the Bears offense and had kind of an easier day this time with the Bears doing something there with Ted Watts at the 32. Bears in a transition stage. It goes 7 and 8 after this game if the score remains the same. Good high kick. Sends Watts back to the 25. And out of bounds at the 34. So the Raiders will take over 1st and 10 on the 33-yard line as the Bears winning 23-6. We'll be back. It's been raining in the Bay Area all weekend, especially today, as there's an unhappy Oakland fan. Well covered, we might add. Raiders have it 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. 23-6, Chicago leading. Barnwell and Chandler wide to the right. Derek Ramsey. They sent everyone out on this pattern, and Derek Ramsey, the tight end, off his fingertips, incomplete.
Ramsey,
he was there, and 5 defenders back there for the Bears. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Last 5 possessions for the Oakland Raiders, and you can see the kind of defense the Bears have shown. The safety, interception, and fumble. 2 turnovers and a safety.
Nothing more than 4 plays. That is really a tribute to the Bear defense, and it's winding up to be another good defensive effort for the Chicago Bears, and what a turnaround that aspect of the game has shown.
2nd and 10 at the 33. 7:36 remaining in the 4th quarter. Mark Wilson drills it. Barnwell has it. 45-yard line and a first down for the Raiders. So Malcolm Barnwell getting some time, and Reuben Henderson, you'll see both of them in the league for quite a while, I'm sure. 17-yard pickup for Barnwell.
Yeah, well, Henderson is obviously playing off way deep now. He slipped coming off, but he played off deep. He doesn't want to get beat deep in this situation of the game, so he'll give him that pass in front of him because they know the Raiders have to go down 2 or 3 times to score touchdowns to beat him in this game, so they're going to lay off a little bit.
23-6. The Bears lead the Raiders, looking for their first victory ever over Oakland in regular season.
Here comes
the blitz. And Wilson under siege. Gets the ball off, and Barnwell drops it. Henderson was with him, and it looked like he was catching it a la Chandler.
He wanted to run before he caught the ball. This time, we got to give Mr. Hawkins, Frank Hawkins, some credit, number 27. This time, he did block Plank as he blitzed up the middle and took care of Doug Plank, and they were able to get the pass off. But he's the one that allowed the safety, but he made up for it that time.
Hawkins was originally cut. It was a 10th round draft choice, cut and then brought back. And his reputation is as a blocker with this club. So Hawkins, we haven't seen Chester Willis, the 11th round draft choice. Another running back. They draft blockers on this ball club. Even if you can run, you got to block too. 2nd and 10 at the 46. As Derek Ramsey moves closer to the line. An audible called for by Wilson. He gets it to Ramsey. And Derek has the first down as he is just squeezed at the 40-yard line.
And Wilson may have hurt his hand, and he's holding his hand, and I believe it's the throwing hand. As Alan Page got through, the Bears put a blitz on, but Page was the one that got there and was right in Mark Wilson's face. And when he threw the ball, he must have come over with his hand and hit on Page's helmet or shoulder pads or something. Here comes 82 right now, right up the middle. He throws, and then the hand gets clobbered, I believe, onto Alan Page's helmet. And there was the completion, first down, Oakland.
At the 40-yard line. Toss to Barnwell, hit by Henderson hard. He's shy of a first down, and Barnwell looks like he's shaken up now. And looks like Wilson is still suffering with that right hand.
Boy, he really took a pop from Henderson. You know, wide receivers, they really, you talk about a running back when he's carrying the ball taking a lot of punishment. They do take punishment, no question about it. But at least a running back has the ball in his hands. He knows where he's going to run. He's going to dodge. He's going to take his punishment here and there. But a receiver, when he's catching the football, he can do nothing about protecting himself. He has to only go for the football and take the punishment. And therein lies the difference between a running back and a wide receiver. Right now, see, has no chance to get wrapped up and protect himself. A good, solid hit by Henderson.
Who gave you the worst hit you ever experienced?
Ray Nitschke.
Morris Bradshaw has gone in the game as a wide receiver, seeing his first action replacing Barnwell. And you look at the beleaguered Oakland bench. It tells a lot of stories right there. McClanahan sitting there. 2nd and 2 at the 32-yard line. Under 6 minutes to play. Showing blitz again. Wilson up the middle. Incomplete, going for Derek Ramsey, the tight end. Philadelphia, Dallas, the big one going on while this game is in progress. And Dallas has opened it up 21-10 over Philadelphia.
They're at home, and that game will just about wrap it up for the Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys have not lost at home since 1979. And right now, Dallas and Philadelphia, Dallas and San Francisco have the best records. If they end up with the best record, San Francisco would have the home field edge if they should meet in the NFC Finals, because they beat them head-to-head. Meanwhile, here is Hawkins, the rookie, goes off the left side.
Good play by Dan Hampton as he got across the line of scrimmage to make that tackle. And now the Raiders have a situation, I believe, of, is it 4th down?
It is 4th down, 4th and 1. Jim Plunkett is warming up. There he was, the hero of last year's Super Bowl triumph. but now admittedly in the depression because he has started the year, had no protection, wasn't effective, and was benched, and Wilson the man of the hour. But you never can tell in this game. A lot of people thought Plunkett would never get back in. Jensen and Hawkins are the setbacks, 4th and 1. 2 tight ends, and that'll give it to him. Is that Osborne going over? If it is, and if it's against the Bears, it'll be first down Oakland. But no, it's a legal procedure.
Offense
against the Raiders.
65. Ball start.
Mickey Marvin. 4th and 6. Mickey Marvin.
And here comes Jim Plunkett into the game, number 16.
Jim Plunkett with some cheers. NFL Comeback Player of the Year last year. 18 touchdowns in 13 games and started the last 11 in all 4 postseason to help the Raiders go 13-2 down the stretch and win the Super Bowl.
I'd say a little pressure coming in on a 4th down. He has to throw it first time around.
After 36, it is 4th and 6. And Plunkett under pressure. And his pass penalty marker down is complete. Forward progress may be enough for a first down to Derek Ramsey, but hold the phone. We'll see what the penalty marker is. Todd Bell and Jeff Fisher combine to make the stop on tight end Ramsey. They put the charge on Jim Plunkett in his 11th year. Holding it against the Bears. It'll be an automatic first down for the Oakland Raiders. Trailing 23-6 with 4:55 to go, 4th quarter.
Well, Plunkett had to do it all on his first time out. He had to come out of the pocket and throw on the run, and he did a good job as Oakland got the first down. So we're going to see Mr. Plunkett is
holding. First down, number 24.
Jeff Fisher, number 24, was called for the infraction. So let's see how the Bears handle it with Plunkett. Let's see if they try and put everybody after him or whether they just drop off and just go with a straight 3- or 4-man rush.
15 penalties in the game. Plunkett, by the way, has 4 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions, throwing for over 53% in 168 attempts.
Oh,
can't get away, and he finally does, and the pass to Derek Ramsey, incomplete. The last time Plunkett appeared was in the game against the San Diego Chargers.
Doug Plank was across before the ball was. 46 right there to the left of the center. Boom, he was all over Plunkett, who got out of it and got the ball off. Two good plays by Plunkett. Of course, Derek Ramsey did not make the reception, but there's Doug Plank, who has really, he must feel like a lineman today. He must feel like a lineman. He's right up there. If he doesn't blitz, he's dropping off the ball from the line of scrimmage to go back into his pass coverage half the time.
Plunkett's last appearance was in the wipeout by San Diego, 55-21. But he was the quarterback.
Here they come. Here they come.
And Todd Bell getting Plunkett from behind. He was in the passing motion, so it'll go as an incompleted pass. But the pressure put on by Todd Bell from Ohio State.
When they blitz a back up the center and then one for the side. See, now you see the back has to go up. There's Whittington hitting Jeff Fisher. 27 is over to the right halfback spot, and he can't get back to hit 25, Todd Bell, on the blitz. And that's the whole philosophy of the Chicago Bear blitz situation. They bring people from different spots, commit backs to the wrong way, and then somebody gets through slick and clean. You're always taking a risk because you don't have much coverage downfield.
The moral of the story is when you have a 23-6 lead, you can do anything you want.
It's hard to come from behind to beat the Bears.
Mark Wilson has a sprained thumb. Plunkett in there and gets dumped at the 41-yard line. Dan Hampton, the 6th sack for the Chicago Bears.
And he beat Henry Lawrence, who's no slouch. Number 70 was blocking on number 99 and did a heck of a job.
Watch Plank again.
Okay, they do a little crisscross over here. And here comes 70 trying to block on Hampton, and Hampton gets through and knocks him. It actually ended up with Hampton coming with the crisscross with Page, and Lawrence was on Hampton. He couldn't handle him.
Plunkett said, "You mean I had to come in for this?"
Yeah, that's right. Boy, he said, hey, this season's over. Let's finish it up on a high note. As Dan Hampton was in the Pro Bowl last season.
4th and 18 at the 39. The ball at the 39-yard line. And Plunkett is going deep for Barnwell, and it's tipped away beautifully by Gary Fensick. So the Chicago Bear defensive secondary has played virtually a perfect game today.
Everybody was down there, and Plank got another one of his hits, this time on Barnwell, number 80. As they had the pressure on Plunkett, he had to throw the ball up and over, and watch 46. Plank's going to hit Barnwell and really jolt him right there. Down he goes. Too many Chicago Bears around, incomplete, and the Bears have the football.
So the Bears take over on downs, and we want to remind you that tonight on CBS starts with 60 Minutes, and then it's two great specials. First, it's the All-Star Party for Burt Reynolds, followed by the 6th Annual Circus of the Stars. It's all tonight on CBS. Bears ball, 1st and 10 on their 39, with 4:08 remaining in the 4th quarter, 23-6, and Evans gets away from one, but not Browning. Dave Browning for the 2nd sack, and his 2nd sack of the afternoon. He had a couple, I believe, against the Steelers on Monday night.
Well, it looks like the Bears are throwing it more and enjoying it more. Most teams would run out the clock. The Bears are still throwing. I guess it's because they have had so little success over the past few games.
They got a lot to make up.
That's right. They got a lot to make up for. It was a wide receiver screen that time, and the Raiders had it pegged.
There's the time again. The question, of course, that Bear fans have to be asking is, well, they've looked pretty good on offense today. Why didn't they do this earlier this year?
Well, a lot of times teams will come on strong when it's too late, you know.
2nd and 15. Harper up the middle for a few.
Roland Harper, the ball carrier.
And sometimes when the pressure gets off and everybody relaxes, and Vince Evans had some early success with a couple of passes early in the game, and it probably was a big confidence builder for him, because obviously he's lost a little bit of his confidence on the season, and the whole offense has. And it's got to affect the quarterback, and they needed a little bit of success. Now, I'm not saying they're Super Bowl champions, but they show that they can, and they've done a lot of this without Walter Payton in the lineup. But they can move the ball. The Raiders are not slouches on defense. It's a good football team.
3rd and 12 at the 37. Under 3 minutes to go in this 4th quarter. It's been all Chicago since the 1st quarter. In fact, they have led all the way. McClendon is tackled for a loss of a yard by Mike Davis, and it'll be 4th down. Now, a lot of people question the quarterback, Vince Evans. Can he do it? And of course, I guess the jury is still out on it.
I would say the jury is still out. I think he has so much potential that you can't give up on him, but I think the Bears would be smart to draft or trade for a quarterback as insurance. But this man has all the ability that is needed. He can throw, he can run. He's a smart young man, and there's just a lot of things that got to happen to offensive strategy-wise to help him out.
60 minutes will be seen in its entirety following this football game. The Bears leading 23-6, and Bob Parsons will be punting. Ted Watts is at the 25-yard line. There's Watts.
And I understand Bear fans are starting a petition to get the Bears moved into the AFC West.
They're 3-0 with Denver next week, and you know Denver will probably have it clinched by then.
2-minute warning.
And now we have the 2-minute warning here at Oakland Coliseum, with the Bears comfortably in front 23-6. And you knew they may have things a little on their side when Alan Page blocked the conversion in the 1st quarter after Wilson fired to Chandler for 27 yards to make it 7-6, and the Bears have never been headed. Evans with 3 touchdown passes, 2 to Watts, 1 to Marjoram. Marjoram, a special day for him, coming back before the family and the friends in the Bay Area, where he started for Stanford. His first NFL touchdown reception, a 22-yarder. A safety by Fensick, and just superb all-round play by the Bears defense, particularly by the secondary.
Yes, and I think we haven't really given enough credit to the offensive line. The Bear offensive line has allowed in the last 4 games 16 sacks. But today they did very well against a team that was 2nd in the league in sacking quarterbacks. Right. So you got to give the offensive line some credit. And Walter is explaining to Neil Armstrong what's the matter with his leg, but he did get in there, did play some football, caught a couple of passes, and he'll be okay. He started at his, I'm not sure now, but I think about 95 straight games for a running back. That's not too bad. Neil Armstrong, super guy, a real gentleman,
As is Tom Flores.
Tom Flores, he can also cook. He's a great cook. Did you know that? He is a fantastic cook. All the players have confirmed that. He knows how to cook. He does it for a hobby.
So Bob Parsons averaging just over 40 yards, his longest 49. 4th down, 13, low snap, and they might have gotten a piece of this one. And it takes a Chicago roll. That's the way it's gone today, a Chicago roll, and it drops at the 20-yard line.
No call on roughing the kicker because one of the players ticked the ball that hit Parsons. He didn't hit him very hard, but he hit the ball. If you hit the ball, then the call is off for roughing the kicker.
So it's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line, and an injured Ted Hendricks is being helped off the field.
And it looks like it might have been a knee, too. That's unfortunate. There he is, Ted Hendricks, who's played so well over the years, and Al Davis gave up 2 draft choices to get Ted Hendricks, and he turned out to be well worth it. Not too many linebackers are worth 2 draft choices, at least coaches feel they are. 2 draft choices and a whole bundle of money. But he helped get him to the Super Bowl and has played excellent for him.
Special linebacker is not an ordinary one by any means. Penalty marker down as Plunkett gets it off to Frank Hawkins to the 30-yard line. Maybe shy of a first down, but the penalty marker way down in the backfield and holding against the Raiders. So once again, the Bears putting a lot of pressure on, and a holding call here. 23-6. Want to remind you that 60 minutes follows its entirety following this game. Hendricks flexing that left knee.
Offense, number 65, holding. First down.
So it sets Plunkett way back.
And you know, it's ironic, the Bears are starting to play better football. They're going to win this game, and with each win that they have at the end of the season makes their draft choice worse for next year. They were in a position to get the 3rd player, and now with New Orleans losing and a couple of other teams, the Bears are not going to be drafting as high as they would have.
1st and 20. Mark Wilson out with a sprained thumb. Jim Plunkett almost lost his footing. Hawkins out of the backfield on a swing pass. Gets to the 17-yard line. But the Bears, of course, a lot of people say quarterback. They've got this Tim Clifford from Indiana, who I saw last year win MVP award at the East-West game, and he's a possibility next year to at least challenge for the job.
Yes, and he's a pretty good athlete. He runs pass patterns in the practices sometimes out there, so he's got a little bit of agility.
And I would think that any strengthening in the draft will come on the offense, don't you think?
Yes.
Maybe a tight end that can catch. Derek Ramsey, the tight end, running for the first down. And the clock stops with 55 seconds remaining.
Papa Bear George Halas, I'm sure, is watching this football game. He was out at practice the other day, and I asked him, this was on Friday, he's been coming out to practice more often in the last few weeks since the Bears have been not doing so well. And I asked him what he's looking for, and he said, I'm looking to see the enthusiasm that my players have, even though the season is lost as far as being in the playoffs, but I just want to see if they're out there with some enthusiasm at practice. So he's kind of judging the players.
Well, they've seen not only enthusiasm in practice, but they've seen tremendous enthusiasm in this game, coming to Oakland and outplaying the Raiders from the opening gun. Barnwell makes the reception at the 40-yard line.
Whoa, we almost had a little flare up there between Barnwell and Henderson, and actually Barnwell should be happy. Those 2 players could have really clobbered him because he hadn't been hit. He was on the ground. They both came up and just touched him, so he really had nothing to complain about.
Timeout. The Raiders use one. It'll be 2nd and 3 at the 41-yard line. Well, you know, if you talk about offensive linemen that the Bears may be looking at, don't forget Dennis Lick comes back next year. Van Horn is a rookie. There's some veterans, though, on the left side. And let's take a look at some of the people. For example, offensive guard Kurt Becker of the University of Michigan, 6'5", 260. They like him.
And Terry Tausch from Texas. You notice the best linemen are from the big schools. Sean Farrell from Penn State.
So those are the 3 of the most prominent offensive linemen that the Bears, no matter where they draft, even if they slip from their current position, will probably have a shot at if they go that route in the first round.
The line play hasn't been the weakest. The offensive line hasn't been the weakest part of some of the other problems the Bears have had. And I wouldn't say it's a top priority for an offensive lineman. However, Jim Finks and the Bears general manager does believe in drafting linemen, as Neil Armstrong I guess he doesn't feel this game's wrapped up. Neil's a little shook up there.
23-6 with 42 seconds to go, and Plunkett goes down. But this is a tough day for Jim Plunkett, having to come in a mop-up situation because Wilson had suffered the sprained thumb. That's the time remaining.
one thing for sure, the Raiders have not been able to pick up the various blitzes that Buddy Ryan and the Bears defense has thrown at them. They have had trouble all day, and who's going to block who? And that's a tribute to the Bear defense.
It is 3rd and 8 at the 35. So the Chicago Bears, Evans going to the air and clicking with 3 touchdown passes. And the defense doing quite a job. And an interception there by Todd Bell. Todd Bell with his 2nd interception of the season. And he went from side to side, wants to stay in bounds, and he goes out of bounds with 9 seconds to play.
It was blown dead back here, and that's why everybody seemed like they really weren't trying on that. Apparently, the official has ruled it either a dead ball where he intercepted or an incomplete pass, saying that he did not catch the ball. We'll have to check and see.
Bell is saying, well, I got to work out on that one play.
Boy, that was a dying quell by Jim Plunkett. That wasn't one of his better throws. He says, no, it wasn't.
Still Oakland ball, so it'll be an incomplete pass as Plunkett stays out there. 9 seconds to go. The Raiders have not had a losing season in 17 years, and they're in danger of experiencing that. They will go 7 and 8. And a closing game against San Diego a week from tomorrow. A happy Neil Armstrong and a sad Tom Flores on a rainy afternoon in Oakland. Plunkett going back under pressure, and the pass is tipped up and incomplete, intended for Derek Ramsey. So there are still 2 seconds showing on the clock. Plunkett has gone from the heights to the depths, I would have to say.
Well, you can't blame this one really on him. He came in a bad situation, right, Dick? But he gave it all he had. It's just that the Bear defense has got everything going their way right now, and it's pretty tough to move on a team when you're down. What is it? 23-6, 23-6, and a team that doesn't always drop off. They throw a lot of blitzes, as Al Davis, realizing it could be his first losing season, as you said, in many, many, many years.
So this will be the last play of the game as the Chicago Bears will go 5 and 10 on the year. The Oakland Raiders 7 and 8. Don't forget, next Saturday, the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. And it all starts with the NFL today as the Bears go 3-0 against the AFC West as they have defeated San Diego, Kansas City, and the Oakland Raiders by a score of 23-6. And Tom Flores leaves. So does Neil Armstrong. 2nd win in a row for the Chicago Bears, and Al Davis can only mull what might have been. And this is not the Raiders' year after winning the Super Bowl. They were officially ousted yesterday when the Jets beat Cleveland. So the final score is 23-6. For Johnny Morris, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Oakland, California. And now we go to Dan Rather in New York for the latest information on the crisis in Poland.